Kyrou now with Thomas. Kyrou tries to lead before Buchnevich has to reach back for it. It's the defenseman coming on. Perunovic to Thomas. He scores! What a goal by Robert Thomas. Top corner, stick side. 2-1, St. Louis. 7 seconds to go. Pettersson over the line. Far wing, Letty breaks it up. 2 seconds left. Parayko there to put it into the corner. Bring out the Zamboni. The Blues beat the best in the West tonight with a 2-1 win on home ice over the Vancouver Canucks. A come-from-behind win, and they're now 6-3 under new head coach Drew Bannister.
Let's get nasty on a Friday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. No Jamie Rivers today. He's traveling with the Blues. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. 2:04. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. You heard Chris Kerber last night on the home of the Blues right here on 101 ESPN and the Blues Radio Network. And the Blues get it done 2-1 against the top team in the Western Conference. Didn't start off well.
Didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either.
Nor did I.
I got to be honest.
I don't know what's going on here.
I didn't see them holding the Canucks to only one goal. I didn't see them winning the game. I didn't see them winning the game after the Canucks scored in the blink of an eye to start the game. But credit this team. They now have victories, guys, over Vancouver, over Tampa, over Florida, over Vegas, and over Colorado.
So what does that mean, Anthony?
Does it change your expectations? Or do you count it like, okay, well, they also have losses against Columbus, Chicago, and San Jose?
I think it kind of shows the most frustrating thing is about a team that is, I guess, inconsistent, like can play really well against some of the better teams in their league and then have a stinker or a clunker like you do against Chicago, where you know probably shouldn't lose that game in that manner. That's one of the most frustrating things, and that's a team that I don't know that you can trust just yet. Now, this is going to be a really good stretch for them to figure out, okay, maybe they have turned the corner a little bit, and since the firing of Craig Berube, maybe they have, and so if they have, you'll see that in these next 3 games against some top competition.
What about you, Marsh? Did your expectations change when they beat the teams I just mentioned?
Not really, because of what Carey just mentioned, because they can't really get up for those games against lesser opponents. And in my opinion, now some people might think that the Blues are one of those lesser opponents, but they've been playing better hockey as of late. We'll just see how this thing transpires. I'm not going to place any expectations until we get later into the year to really see what this team is made of when we're around playoff time. But if they do miss the playoffs, we can look back on those games and be like, this is why you missed the playoffs, because you could not take down the teams that you needed to take down.
Yeah.
Which is the frustrating part, because if they do get into the playoffs, they have played these better teams really well. Even when Craig Berube was here, they were playing, the Colorado game. They scored, 8 goals against them?
Yeah. Yep. So
you've seen it happen. So if they do end up missing the playoffs, you can look back at some of these moments throughout the year and be like, okay, we missed out on some, I want to call them easy points, because not every game is easy, but some points that you definitely could have gotten that would have put you in a good spot to make the playoffs. Yep. Hopefully that's not the case, but right now I'm waiting to really dive into this team.
How are you winning and how are you losing? That's what I look at. When you're winning games against Colorado 8-2, when you're beating Tampa Bay by shutting them out 5-0. Last night, you hold the Canucks team to 1 goal that they scored very early in the first period after they had been on a scoring binge coming in. When you hold somebody like Vegas to 1 goal in a 2-1 overtime win in Vegas, when you hold Colorado to the 2 goals, you have the capability of playing top-notch defense.
Yeah.
When I look at San Jose and you give up 5 and a loss, the Kings 5 and a loss, Chicago, one of those games, you beat them 4-2, but you also allowed 3 goals against a Chicago team that's not good offensively. That to me, and this maybe is anecdotal, but that to me, Carey, would signify that you are a team that plays up and down to your competition, specifically defensively. When you play within your game, to use a cliche, and you play against a top team like Vancouver, like Tampa, like Florida, you're able to hold those powerhouses to 2 or fewer goals. That's within you.
It's there. And
but you don't do it consistently.
That's the problem. And we talked to Jamie about this yesterday, the fact that they had 3 or 4 days off since their last game. The holidays were passed. All of the things that you could use as excuses. You were home, came back from Pittsburgh, were able to get home and rest and recover from many illnesses. They needed to play that well last night. If you got blown out or got smoked out, first period where you're down 3 goals before you even really get going, that would have been much worse and been more of an example of who they are than anything else. And the fact that they were able to come out, put forth a great effort, and win the game, compete with a team that is that good, it shows a lot about this team. Now, this is the thing that when you have younger players, when I'm coaching younger players, the reward when you play a good game, Anthony, you get to do it again. Because now you've shown that you can do it. There are no reasons why you can't put together this game every single night. If you can do it against one of the better teams in the league, you can damn sure do it against some of the worst teams in the league, and it shouldn't be that much or that far of a drop-off. And so this has to be the level of expectation. Now, are you always going to feel great? No. You're going to be tired. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to be worn down from travel and playing in a physical hockey game. That comes with playing this sport. But at the end of the day, sports are always more mental than they are physical. Everybody hurts, man. Everybody is tired. So that excuse does not work for me. I've played in a Thursday night game, Anthony, that my damn body still hurt from the Sunday night game a few days before. Sure. It's a part of it. And guess what? The team across on the other side felt the same way. There were guys that felt that same pain, and they may have had to travel to us, so they had to get on a plane. It's part of the game. I don't like the excuses. Go play, because I know that you're capable of doing it. Now continue to do it.
I know that the identity, and we talk a lot about identity, and in sports, specifically with media, we lean on that for kind of a catch-all. But I do think that it's kind of interesting to look at this Blues team and the manner in which they've won games, the manner in which they've lost games, who they've beaten, who they've lost to. This is, I think, part of it. You don't know who you are.
Right.
You don't know who you want to be, or you're trying to be a team that is different on night to night.
But why
on a
don't
night to night
you?
basis?
Why can't you? Why can't this be the standard for who you are? Why can't you put a pin in this game and say, this is who the hell we are? Why can't we be, not regardless of if it's 3 days off, regardless of if, we're the holiday, all of the other excuses, we were sick, all of those things aside, why can't this be who you are when you step on the ice every single time you have a game?
Because in my opinion, you're not elite in one aspect. I think teams that have an identity are also elite in one aspect.
Effort goes a long way, man.
I'm not saying that that's the end all be all, and you can't have effort and all that.
Yeah.
But Carey, let's look at your Steelers team. Your Steelers teams. You knew exactly who you were.
Oh yeah.
Somebody comes to Pittsburgh. Somebody goes to Heinz Field, because that's where you played.
Indeed. It's still Heinz Field. Don't worry about that.
You're going to get punished.
That was the plan.
You're going to get punished. You're going to get run on. You're going to get punished. And the elite years where Big Ben was throwing the ball, he was going to throw deep. You knew exactly who you were.
Yes.
And in January, you didn't want to go to Pittsburgh.
You did not.
The team that you played on prior to that was Atlanta. And Atlanta typically doesn't know what it is, but that team knew who it was too.
We did.
You had 3 running backs plus Vic. You were going to run.
We were. And throw the ball to Algie Crumpler.
Exactly. So every pass play is going to go to Algie Crumpler or Brian Finneran, and you're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
I think teams that are elite at something, and you guys led the league in rushing that year, I believe.
So. Yep.
Every team knows what they are, so that they can lean on it.
Yep.
I don't think the Blues are elite at any one thing, and I think that's part of the inconsistencies.
I want you to answer this. One of you all, probably you, Marshy. What is the best identity for this team?
That's tough, because you look at the players now. You look at the players now. You think skill, right? But we've seen what a winning recipe looks like, and it was a little bit of mixture of both. But it was hard-nosed hockey. It's winning board battles. It's winning the battle in front of the net, whether you're in the offensive zone or the defensive zone. We're not seeing that on a consistent basis right now. So that's the issue. One thing that I look at is their home and road splits. They are a much better team at home. In 17 games, or 11-6 They're 11-6-0 with 22 points on the road, 19 games, 7-11-1 with 15 points. If you look at the shooting percentage at home, 11.6%. Against the road, it's 7.6. So perhaps it's the fans yelling shoot, and that's why they're much better at home.
I was actually disappointed because I didn't hear it enough yesterday.
Didn't hear it enough?
I didn't hear it enough.
Well, that's why it was a low-scoring game.
Let's Go Blues very loud. But I didn't hear the shoot. I didn't hear it loud enough. And I need St. Louis to come on.
Now, I know
it's a wise call to blame the fans.
We're slightly joking here, but seriously though, those are completely different numbers. The differential in goals, 4 at home, minus 17 on the road. They are a better team at home than they are on the road. It's simple as that.
I don't care what sport it is. If you're a good team, you win on the road.
Yes,
not all the time. Obviously,
and the 2019 team did.
Yes, you have to be. Yeah, that was weird too because they were better on the road. Yeah, but I mean, you know what it's like to play on the road.
Yeah,
I mean it's not easy. You have to be focused.
You do.
You have to clear the mind.
On the road is actually in football can be a little bit easier because there are less distractions. You get away, you're in a hotel for the night, you get out there on the field. Other than the crowd noise for an offensive player, but it's white noise. You don't hear anything. You focus and you have to be more dialed in to what's going on. I think sometimes teams that do well on the road, they obviously are better teams because they are more dialed in, more locked in, more, staying in the moment of what's going on as opposed to just kind of flying around and trying to figure things out on the fly.
And I wonder if that has anything to do with having the final change, getting the right matchup out there.
Sure.
It's not everything, but it definitely helps when you look at this roster. I feel like there's only maybe a certain amount of players that can stay with those top lines in the NHL. So maybe that has something to do with it. But, I mean, the stats are the stats. They're a better team at home.
Blues are off tonight, but they take on the Hurricanes in Carolina tomorrow. Pregame starting at 6 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Again, Jamie Rivers traveling today, so he'll be back with us on Monday. Jim Bowden of The Athletic put together don't say it. It's not Bobby's brother. It's not even said the same way. Although I almost tripped myself up on that one. He put together a mid-season, off-season grade list for every team.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you guys if you think the Cardinals grade that he gave them to this point is fair. Plus, he mentioned something at the end that was really interesting. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Is that Bobby's brother?
Nope. Jim Bowden of The Athletic put together his grades at this point in the offseason for every Major League Baseball team, and he gave the Cardinals a B. He listed Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson. Obviously, those are the free agent signings, and then noted the trade of Tyler O'Neill to the Red Sox for Nick Robertson and Victor Santos. B for the Cardinals. Fair for you guys?
Yeah.
How would you grade it? First and foremost, how would you say if I'm gonna do any? Forget the Cardinals for a second. Just any team. I'm gonna grade the offseason to this point. Are you grading on filling needs? Are you grading on the specific signings? Are you grading on impact players? How would you grade?
I think it's off of needs. I mean, I think when you look at the Cardinals and what they needed most is what they got. They needed starting pitching. They got 3 starters. That was one of the downfalls that they had last season, especially after you trade a couple of starters at the trade deadline. You are in desperate need. You had one that was pretty much injured in Adam Wainwright all season long. So you needed that starting pitching depth and help. So to go out there and get those guys. Now, again, if you're a Cardinal fan, it's probably not the names that you were expecting. No one expected it to be Lance Lynn or Kyle Gibson or Sonny Gray probably was one of the names on the list, but you thought it would be someone and Sonny Gray in terms of a bigger name, a bigger, higher-priced free agent. But it was a need that was filled. And so I think that was the most important part of it, getting those guys on the roster. Now, will they be able to stay healthy? Will they be able to keep the ball in the ballpark? Because, those 3 guys that they brought in gave up a lot of home runs last year, gave up a lot of hits. And so we'll see if they're able to get those things corrected for 2024.
What about you, Marsh? What would you grade on?
I think I'd grade on where they were last season to what they could be this upcoming season. So I guess a B would be all right. Like, that's just, to me, like, C is average. A B is, I don't know, what would you say, like 10 to 15 games better? But, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Is that
like,
10 to 15 games better?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, that's why I asked the question. Because if you just grade on needs, if they filled needs, they did fill needs.
Yeah. Like,
they filled their biggest needs. But Marsh, I think where you're going is, how did they fill those needs? And how much better are you than you were a year ago?
Right. Because it's not like they were a 500 team and they're playing to now win 100 games. Like,
right.
There's a lot of games they need to make up to get back to being a 500 team, which is still not good enough to make the playoffs.
Sure. Now, a year ago at this time, you were heading into spring training, or were gearing up to head into spring training, with a rotation that I thought had more question marks. I think some of us look back and we have kind of short-term memory on this and say, well, this is about the same as you had a year ago. It wasn't. Miles Michaelis was coming off a good year, but Adam Wainwright.
Or worse?
Well, I think this rotation is slightly better.
Really?
So this is my point.
I think we disagree on that.
Your exact face right there.
Yes. When we're talking preseason, like not once the season started.
Spring training.
At this moment, 2023, I think that starting rotation was better than it projected to be better than what this starting rotation is.
I think we all thought Adam Wainwright would be way better than what he was.
Did we though? Because he was coming off.
I think so.
I know he burnt his finger making bacon, but
7 straight starts. He was terrible. I know he had the tweets.
He did, and that I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he recognized what the problem was, and he has done that in the past. Throwing in the mirror and whatnot.
Yeah.
He has corrected himself. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, being a veteran, being a longtime Cardinal, and he's proven that in the past. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that he would get back to at least what he was in 2022.
Yeah.
That just wasn't the case.
No, I didn't feel like a lot of people really believed in Jack Flaherty. Everybody kept saying he's not an ace.
I was optimistic.
Did you? I did.
Okay, well, you guys
and Jordan Montgomery. Like, I was really high on those 3 pitchers: Miles Michaelis, Jordan Montgomery, and Jack Flaherty.
But I think the Jordan Montgomery thing sways everybody, because everybody's like, well, you had Jordan Montgomery last year.
Yes.
Jordan Montgomery going into spring training was one of those guys that you liked. We're now talking about Jordan Montgomery winning a World Series and being dominant in the second half. The conversation changed a lot from where we were then to now. I think people...
He wasn't a world beater in the first half.
No, this Jordan Montgomery to me was always a 3 or 4, and then when he got into the set,
Really?
Carey, we went from nobody knowing who Jordan Montgomery was at here in St. Louis at the trade deadline.
And how well did he perform when he got here?
He was solid.
Outstanding.
He's a second half pitcher.
He finished.
That's what we didn't know.
as a number 2 for the Rangers, if not a number 1.
And what was he here?
But going into this year, or I'm sorry, last year, I think Montgomery was more of a 2 or 3 because of what you had here.
He was a 2, and I think Jack Flaherty was projected as the number 1.
He what I'm saying is he blossomed into the guy now we're like, oh, well, now you're missing Jordan Montgomery. Go back to a year ago.
We disagree on that because I honestly think what you saw from the time
if you were high on Jack Flaherty, you were definitely high on Jordan Montgomery.
I was high on a lot of things. When Jordan Montgomery got here from the trade, when he came from New York, and the way that he performed up until and through the playoffs, I thought that this was a guy that I was one of the people I said, we need to re-sign him. Why haven't we re-signed Miles Michaelis? What in the hell are we waiting on Jordan Montgomery? And the part of the reason was he did struggle at the beginning of the season, which in my mind, you definitely re-sign him because he may take less than what he's definitely was going to take less than what he's going to get here in a few weeks or a few months. So that was my thought process, and I did. I thought that starting rotation projections, and Waino being your number 4, Steven Matz being your number 5. I projected that lineup, that starting rotation, to be better than what this one is. Now, clearly, it didn't happen that way. But
let me rephrase. Were there more question marks last year? Because I think there's definitely more question marks with the starting rotation than there is now.
Yeah, because they told us we had 6. And I was trying to figure out, do we have 6?
I think people forget how bad Wainwright was at the end of the previous season.
He was. And so we had Waino on every Wednesday. And initially, it was thought that it came back to just like a mechanic issue as opposed to an injury. And that's what he felt like he figured out. Now, he did end up getting hurt in the World Baseball Classic where he said he pulled his groin, I believe, right before the season started, which put him on the IL. And that, I think, set him back. But I think all of those things, but if we're talking about January 5th, 2023, I think I was more excited about what that rotation and their possibilities just a little bit more than what this one is. Now, again, it didn't work out, but at that time, 1 year ago today.
Let me, Marshall, you got something. Let me make this statement here. I was not excited about that rotation. I am not excited about this rotation.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, what I'm asking is, were there more question marks about last year's rotation than this year's rotation? I would say yes, but I am not excited about either version.
I would say that there were less questions last season.
You do?
Yes, I do. But that doesn't take away the fact that I think that this rotation is better than last year. I do think that on paper, this rotation is. Now, I'm not saying that's a great thing by any means, because we established that the rotation's not, again, a bunch of world beaters here. But I do think that we were concerned, not even concerned, but I think that we had the notion that the offense could just outslug everything.
Point.
It didn't matter what the rotation looked like. That was almost like an afterthought. The things that were on people's mind was, what is Jordan Walker going to look like? What is this offense going to look like? It wasn't the pitching, because people did have expectations for Jordan Montgomery. I thought he had an excellent second half in 2022, so we thought that would just roll over into the 2023 season. Same with Miles Michaelis. Like I said, I had a feeling that Adam Wainwright could fix some things. Steven Matz, people have their opinions on him. Whether he can stay healthy, we'll leave that to the side. But I think pitching in itself wasn't necessarily the question. Like, people weren't being like, oh, the pitching, we're going to suck this year because of the pitching. It was just like, the pitching's whatever. But this offense, I think the offense can outslug the pitching.
I think the offense, for me, the offense masked a lot of the issues that I thought the pitching was going to have.
I'll give you the reason why I felt more comfortable about last season than this season. Okay. Top 5 in hits allowed, 1, 4, and 5 are all now starting pitchers for the Cardinals. Number 1 in home runs, we know who that was allowed. That was Lance Lynn. Earned run, top 5. Earned runs allowed, top 5 in baseball. This is Major League Baseball. 3 of the 5 guys that are on the starting rotation for the 2024 season. That's why, because Miles Michaelis had a rough season. Now, again, people will say, well, that's because they pitched more innings than other people. Perfect. But all 3 of those guys weren't on the Cardinals roster last year, so you can't blame it solely on the Cardinals defense. You can't blame it on a number of things that we hear for why the Cardinals were so bad defensively, because 2 of those guys weren't here. It was a lot of hits given up. It was a lot of home runs given up. It was a lot of earned runs given up. And that's why and they are older than the staff that you had last year. That's a concern for me. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be better, because if they're not better, it's going to be a long 162 games. So, but that's why I have the concern, is the numbers is showing, hey, they have more hits allowed. They have more earned runs allowed. And Lance Lynn got to figure out a way to keep the ball in the ballpark. So those are my concerns going into 2024.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Hey, leave us a mic drop, because I'm interested in this. It started off with us talking about the fact that Jim Bowden of The Athletic gave the Cardinals a B for their offseason grade, their offseason grade to this point. If you have thoughts on that, or maybe I'm misconstruing
how good they. I mean, not
how
good.
bad people were complaining about the starting staff last year. I mean, before the season,
it was bad, but I thought it was more. I thought they were going to be more competitive. No one thought Miles Michaelis was going to have the year that he had. Yeah. Right. Going into that season, and again, Jordan Montgomery, just Jordan and Miles Michaelis alone.
But he was the only one without questions. He was and Jordan Montgomery. Sorry, 2. Yeah. You had 2 guys without questions last year. Miles Michaelis and Montgomery going into the year. And you had 3 guys with questions.
And so you had great hope because of Jack Flaherty.
Well, that's a you problem, Carey.
I get it, but you understand.
High on hope.
I was high on it.
Man.
Again, a few things in life. Hope is one of them.
I think hindsight's 2020, though, right?
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. We can look back and be like, well, yeah, there were a little bit of concern for the starting staff. Like, I just don't think that was the narrative heading into the year. I think,
man, I do.
Credit to you. You did say that on opening day.
This year. Yeah, you did. But I don't feel like I was the only one. I felt like a lot of people had concerns. I was blinded by, while Carey was high as a kite on hope, I was drunk as a skunk on the offense being better than what it was.
Right, and that, I think that is where people, their thoughts was that this offense could outslug their problems. Like, the pitching would not be terrible, but it wouldn't be like, you would have to win games like the first game of the year. What was it, 9-8 or 10-9 or whatever? Like, that was the type of game that you would thought the Cardinals would be in for the majority of the season. But you were still somewhat excited because, my goodness, they put up like 10 runs in the first game, like this offense. But then the offense became not being able to drive runners in scoring position when it mattered, by the way, not when the game was 12-3 on a random Thursday afternoon. That's when it mattered, and that is the question for me heading into this year. What is this offense going to look like? Because now we know what this pitching looks like on paper. Can the offense be better next season?
All right, we're going to do a very quick who could blow it on Sunday or Saturday, because you got 2 games on Saturday. But who can choke on NFL Week 18 Saturday, Sunday? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues picked up a victory last night against the Vancouver Canucks. A 2-1 final. Colton Parayko and Robert Thomas scoring for the Blues last night as they defeated the Canucks. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow night taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Week 18 of the NFL season starts up this weekend, and there's a lot on the line for some teams. We're going to dive into some of the storylines heading into Week 18 and which teams might blow it heading into the playoffs. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Which teams could absolutely choke this weekend in the National Football League? Let's start off with the Sunday night game. So we'll kind of work in reverse a little bit here, guys. Dolphins and Bills. Winner of this game wins the AFC East. The Bills are favored, not by a lot. I think it's 2.5, but the Bills are favored. So technically, they would be the team that would be blowing it if they lose in Miami. So do the Bills choke? Or do they win the division?
So I don't think, because the Bills are the one that have had to climb their way back into this thing and even have an opportunity to be a divisional champion, I don't think if they lost, that would be a choke. If Miami loses at home, having had the lead that they've had in the division all season long, you put up 70 points against another NFL team. How the hell are we in this situation?
NFL team-ish.
Okay.
Who was it that?
That was the Broncos earlier in the year.
Ish.
Yeah. Okay. I can see where you're going with that. But this Miami team, if they were to choke, for me, that they can be the ones that blow it. Because you're at home, you've had the division lead pretty much in your pocket the entire season, and now you just had, hey, okay, here, we don't really want to be in AFC East champs. You can have it.
Yeah.
Hey, the Patriots have done it so many years. We know what it's like to not be champs. Go ahead.
Go for
Buffalo.
it.
It has to be the Dolphins, especially if they lose this game. I don't see them winning in the first round because they head on the road to, I don't know where they would end up.
Maybe Kansas City.
They would be the five seed.
So
it would be it would be the winner of the AFC South.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, right? But I don't see them making it too far, especially if they're playing on the road. So I think it means more to them. The Bills, I mean, they're playing with house money, right? They've just been they just keep winning, right? They just keep winning. If they lose, like, they're not supposed to win. They're not supposed to. Yes,
which is weird because they destroyed Miami earlier this year in Buffalo. I mean, absolutely waxed them.
Well, and I'm not saying from like a line standpoint, like you said, they are the favorite, but like they were not supposed to be in this spot,
right?
And I think they would be the 6th seed because I think Cleveland is locked in at the 5.
Okay, so
potentially.
They would go to Kansas City then. They would
be
go
there. Both of those teams would be 11-6, depending on what Cleveland is. Yeah.
I agree with what you guys are saying because the Dolphins have had that spot. They would be the team that would essentially choke. Now, do they though? Do you guys have the Bills or the Dolphins
winning?
Yeah. I have Miami. I said Miami was going to win the division. I'm not going to back down. I mean, they look banged up. They look like a team that is not fractured from a standpoint of like the Washington Commanders are fractured, the Panthers are fractured, but they look like a team that is slowing down here. But you got to go to South Beach. They got waxed in Buffalo earlier this season. Like I said, I think Miami pulls off the small upset.
I think Miami wins as
night.
well. Yeah. I think I picked them to win.
I think the Dolphins are too banged up on defense, and they have some injury problems on offense as well. I think they end up losing. I really do. Now, I like the Dolphins. I've been watching Hard Knocks, the in-season Hard Knocks. I like what they have going, but they just keep losing players. And unfortunately for them, I think they're going to lose.
All right, let's just go to the AFC South here. We just mentioned them. Jacksonville. They win the AFC South with a win over the Titans. The Texans play the Colts tomorrow night. Winner clinches a playoff berth. The Texans are the slight favorites in that one. Jacksonville's a slight favorite over Tennessee. I think Jacksonville blows it. I think they go to Tennessee. Tannehill's starting for the Titans. Weird things happen in the AFC South. Remember the year that Carson Wentz and the Colts were like a 17.5-point favorite in the final week and they lost outright in Jacksonville? I think Jacksonville is the team that loses this weekekend to Tennessee. Team that's got nothing to play for.
Trevor Lawrence playing? Did they say
questionable. Him, Kirk, and somebody else is questionable. Zay Jones.
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, then you could be looking at a loss. And how Jacksonville got to this point is amazing to me. Yeah, because they should have won their division running away. You got 3 rookie quarterbacks that were drafted by the other teams. It shouldn't even be now. Those 3 guys, a couple of them ain't playing, right? But it shouldn't even be
Which
close.
Is even more, to your point, even more.
Right.
How did you blow this?
Right. It's absurd that they are at this point. But I agree. I got the Houston Texans finding a way to win this division, which just give D'Amico Ryan the coach of the year and don't even worry about it.
And C.J. Stroud, rookie of the year.
Let's
good to go.
Yep.
I think Jacksonville blows it, especially with those injuries that you just mentioned, and the way that even if Trevor Lawrence does play, like I don't like the way he's been playing as of late, and I don't even necessarily know if I'd even want them in the playoffs from an entertainment standpoint.
Rather have Houston.
I'd rather have Houston.
I'm with you.
Like I'd rather see C.J. Stroud play in the playoffs than. I mean, I like Trevor Lawrence, don't get me wrong, and I like Jacksonville. I like Doug Peterson. I like those players, but the way that they've been playing, I don't like the matchup. I'd rather see the Browns with Joe Flacco and all that magic against C.J. Stroud, the rookie. I feel like it'd be a good matchup.
Yeah, I do too. I'm with you. All right, there's other scenarios too. We got the NFC South. We've got a Bears-Packers game. That means a lot to the Packers, certainly. Bears are also playing well. We'll get into those matches throughout the course of the show. But something happened last night in sports that led me to ask whether or not we currently have this in sports. I'll explain both sides of it next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, the regular season for the NFL is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Anthony, did you know this? Right now, you can do it today. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Isn't that awesome?
That's
win
incredible.
or lose.
Win or lose. No, normally it's just you lose, you lose.
You lose, you go away.
Yeah.
No one complains. You go about your business.
No.
But win or lose, you get this money.
FanDuel's outstanding. The live same game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub and much more. But you do have to sign up. Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast to make your first bet a layup. And you can do it also at FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. So, CD, my favorite play this week, the Saints. There's no way the Falcons are going into New Orleans and beating the Saints. I like them. I like the Patriots over the Jets. Belichick, if this is his last game, he's not going out a loser against the Jets. And you know what? Let's throw a dog in there, too. How about the Panthers plus 4.5 against the Bucs?
That's a real dog.
Or the Titans. Or the Titans plus 3.5. How you want to build your same game parlay, it's up to you. But you got to do it at FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is a non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So the Warriors lost. Is that your team, CD? Is Warriors your team?
Yeah, I'm a Warriors fan.
Okay. I don't like how you said that.
Yeah.
It's actually Rocchio's team.
No, he's a Nuggets fan.
Yeah, he's
Rocchio is, trust me. Matthew,
he?
Yes.
Because he came up to me it was about a week ago, and he was just gloating about how on Facebook about 10 years ago he posted something about the Warriors being his team before they even became what they are
sent
now.
Me that as well.
Really
Just
That was
raving
a
about
while
his
ago.
pick.
Yeah, about how good he thought they were going to be from 10 years ago.
How did he
but
become
he
a
is
Nuggets fan?
definitely.
He's a bandwagon. That's what he is.
He loves Jokic.
Okay.
He has a Jokic sweatshirt that he wears. T-shirt.
Really?
I must have loved what happened last night.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Must have.
clearly did, and I did not.
So Jokic banks in a miracle three from half court to beat the Warriors. It's 130 to 127. The thing that happened last night was that. The question that I had related to sports was, do we currently have a dynasty in sports right now? Because the Warriors are done. That dynasty is over.
Done just yet. I'm gonna hold out hope.
What leads you to think that dynasty is not over with?
I'm sweating over here, as you can tell.
Okay.
Steph Curry. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because it used to be Steph Curry, and it used to be Klay Thompson when he could consistently shoot. It used to be Draymond Green when he played.
When he didn't choke people out.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when he kind of choked people out, but also still stayed on the court.
That was important.
They used to have the depth.
Yes.
They used to bring in guys, obviously, like Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about the previous dynasty leads you to believe that this current team is going to remain a dynasty.
Well, they gotta find a way to win games and close games out. That was a terrible ending to the game. They were up by like 15 at one point with 5 minutes left, and they just watched it dwindle away. But it was a tough loss. Are there any current teams that are dynasties? I mean, we talked about it earlier. In order to be a dynasty, you would assume that a team won 3 championships in a 6 to 7 year window. I would even give them a 10 year. Yeah, I would as well.
10?
A 10-year window.
I'd give you 10, depending on if a lot of your players are the same.
Yeah,
at least the foundation, right? Like the Spurs. The Spurs didn't. Mm-hmm. I don't think they won 3 in 5, but they won 3 in 10.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Obviously, some faces have to change, but it was still like that foundation. The Blackhawks, I know nobody wants to hear it, but the Blackhawks were a dynasty, and they won largely with the same group. Kane, Hossa, Taves, those guys. Giants, same deal. Posey, Crawford, Belt. A lot of those guys were on at least 2 of those championships, if not all 3. So 3 and 10 is fine if you're largely doing it with the same cast.
Would the Astros be in consideration? They won 2.
So I think the Astros are in consideration, and I think the Kansas City Chiefs are in consideration because the Chiefs have won twice. Mm-hmm. They've been to 3. They've been to 3, but you got to win.
Yeah.
They won in 2019, and then they won last year. You win this year or you win next year, I would consider that to be a dynasty because Mahomes and Reed are going to be there.
See, I think it's like 5 or 6 years. I give that year off.
You know how hard that is?
But that's the point, though. Is that not the point of what a dynasty is? You look at like those teams that you just mentioned, the Blackhawks. They won in 2010, 2013, and 2015.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because 2011 was the Bruins, 2012, I believe, was the Kings.
You know what, Marsh? I don't know why I'm going against you on this. You would know better than I would.
But like I look at that, I think the Chiefs right now are. Them and the Tampa Bay Lightning are the only teams that would be considered, in my opinion, on track for a dynasty. If they win one more, then they are a dynasty because of that amount of time. I just think 10 years is just too long. Like you might have the same core, but like I just feel like it's because if you win, let's say you win 2 in 2000 or in 2020 and 2021. I don't even say 2020. I don't even count that. 2021 and 2022, and then you win one in like 2031, like that's not a dynasty.
All right, so let me see. Let's look at this then. So the Spurs won in 99. That was a shortened year, but they didn't win. They won in 03, 05, and 07. So that was what, 4 years?
4.
Okay, so that wouldn't qualify them.
3 and 3. Yeah. 04,
No,
03,
I'm just
05,
saying. In
07.
March talking about like the 10 years. I thought their championships were more spread out.
Okay.
They did have another one in 14, but at that point,
that was a different. It was some of the guys were the
I mean,
same.
still
but
Pop,
yeah.
but it was really like Kawhi Leonard's team.
We mentioned this before the show started when we were having this discussion, but like the Patriots, they had 2 dynasties, but they had the same guy, right? They had the same quarterback and they had the same coach.
That was my point about the 10. The 10 years.
10 years.
That I think there was a more of a, but again, those are 2 different dynasties though, because those teams were like, yeah, you might have the same few people, but there's a ton of time in between where they weren't on a run. Like I think of teams like on a run, right?
Yeah.
That's not a run. There's too much time in between.
That's fine. Two separate dynasties.
Two
then for the
separate
Patriots.
dynasties
I'm good with
for
that.
them.
Patriots.
I'm good with that.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm good with
I
that.
think I can see that. I mean, the Steelers of the 70s were a dynasty, right?
Mm-hmm.
They 4 championships. That's a lot to do in a short span of time.
Cowboys in the 90s.
Cowboys in the
Bulls
90s.
in the 90s.
Yes.
The Yankees in the late 90s, did they win 3?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. They won 3 in a row.
What about the Georgia Bulldogs as a team on the cusp?
Got to win 3. Yeah. But
They won
yes.
2 in a row.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like
On the cusp.
Alabama, they were a dynasty.
Alabama was a
Yes.
dynasty. Clemson was nearly a dynasty.
won
won 2.
And I don't count, like, if you get to the championship,
See,
I don't count
You do
that.
have to.
You gotta win.
You have to win it.
Because we talked about the Miami Heat, right? They went to 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Split. I mean, 1, 2 in the middle, lost 2 on the ends. But you all don't count them as a
No.
dynasty because they missed one of those years as a champion.
No. Why don't we just call every team a dynasty then?
Every team doesn't make it 4 times.
You got to win. It's special. Carey.
Because the Astros,
As a man that won the Super Bowl,
I
you know
agree.
how difficult it is to win.
do, which is why I'm telling you, it's hard as hell to
Even
become
that,
a dynasty.
that specific Super Bowl that you guys
That was
won
a tough
against
task.
Warner and the Cardinals,
It
that
was.
was epic.
It was a tough task.
Gotta win.
But when I look at the Astros, I mean, you got since 2017, they're either in the World Series or one series away from being in the World
So
Series.
then call the Dodgers a dynasty then.
How many championships have they won in that time?
One. And it was COVID.
So see the asterisk that you just put by that without even saying it?
I'm saying.
And it was COVID.
They're not a dynasty.
So to
Doesn't count.
your point about the 10 years, this is a team I think is a perfect example of what you're saying is the Boston Red Sox of the 21st century. They win in 2004, 2007, 2013. That's in that 10-year span.
And it was all
then
Big
they
Poppy.
also won in 2018. I wouldn't consider them a dynasty in that because there's 6 years of them not being there.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't call them a dynasty either.
Now,
You wouldn't consider that?
No.
From 07 to 13?
No, they would have had to
even
win
to
again.
18.
Yeah,
they
they
won
would've
in
had-
18 as well.
That's like 12 years, though.
Exactly.
That's too spaced
11
out.
years. But the 07 to 13, not was it 07? You said 07 to 13?
04 to 13.
04 to 13.
Yeah.
That's 10. 10 seasons.
I don't think so, though.
No.
So would you rather have your team be a dynasty, win 3 times in, let's say, 5 years, and then the rest of the years maybe you make the playoffs, maybe you don't, because the Red Sox are that type of team. They'll suck one year and then they'll be really good another year. Would you rather have that where you win 3 and 5 or 3 and 6, or would you rather have it spread out the way that the Red Sox have it?
As a fan,
As a fan,
I would rather have what the Houston Astros have right now.
Yeah, sustained success.
where every
you can
single
win.
season,
Yeah.
there is an opportunity to play in a World Series.
I think that
agree.
one falls more into the second category then, where it's a little bit more spaced out, but you're going to be competitive for the most part. And the
Yeah.
Red Sox are still competitive during that time. They may not make the playoffs every year, but at least going into the year, like, I got a good team. I think I'd rather have that.
The chance that you could, it's better than finishing last in your division.
Why would you bring that up?
I'm just speaking it's hypothetical.
Okay, so let's pay it off though. There are no current sports dynasties.
not yet.
The Lightning, the Chiefs, the Astros, and Georgia are all in consideration.
Yes.
But they are not dynasties because they've not won 3. But they're in the mix.
They're right there.
Time's expiring on
Knocking
some
at
of
the
them.
door.
But because the Lightning won 2 years ago.
So they won in 2020, 2021, and then they haven't won since.
Expiring.
So
They got a year or two.
yeah,
tough crowd.
But again, they're
I'm not going to cheapen like the Red to Marsh's point. The Red Sox, that was not a dynasty. That cheapens what the Giants did, or the
Exactly.
Blackhawks did, or the
I do agree.
Patriots did,
The amount of time,
or the Warriors.
lesser amount of time makes
Yeah.
it more of a dynasty than being spread
I think
out.
we sold this.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What's trending is next.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, the United States are taking home gold in the World Juniors as they have defeated Sweden by a final of 6-2. A great win for the United States. And it looks like some of the Blues players showed out this year in the World Junior Tournament.
Yes, they did.
Some excitement for, what the future holds, right? You have to be thrilled for the young men that got the opportunity to play in it, first of all. But then to play well, that's something that you desire to do, and they did it. And so hopefully, I don't know when. I don't know if it's 24, 25, 26. We see some of these guys scoring goals in a Blues uniform.
Yeah. The future is bright for the Blues. You got Jimmy Snuggerud. You have Dvorsky wasn't on this team, obviously. But
No, you have Otto Stenberg, who actually scored for Sweden today.
But when you're thinking about these young, I think when you look at where the Blues are right now, this kind of inconsistent, don't know what we're going to get night to night, could beat the Canucks one night, could lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets another. But then you look at where this team could be down the road. You got to love all the good young talent.
Yes.
So it's exciting. Not as exciting as USA chanting right now in the World Juniors. USA! 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 It's so nice to do that with a Canadian not here.
It's nice. It is nice. Guys, the Mariners traded Robbie Ray to the Giants for Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani. What do you guys think of the move?
This was kind of interesting because, and I will apply this to the Cardinals in a second. I will connect the dots here. But what's interesting about this trade is that, one, Robbie Ray cannot pitch until after the All-Star break next year. He's recovering from Tommy John surgery. So the Giants are acquiring a pitcher that they're going to get for half a season next year. But then I think he's got 2 more years left on a deal because he signed a 5-year deal. He's pitched 2 times for two seasons for Seattle. Got injured, so he'll play 2.5 years for the Giants. But to acquire Haniger played for the Mariners for, I think, 5 seasons. Very good player. Played for 1 injury-marred season last year for the Giants. But they're getting a guy that, while they're rolling dice on, somebody that can hit in the middle of their lineup and add a little bit more pop to a very good lineup, but one that might be lacking in depth.
Yep.
Anthony DeSclafani is perhaps the most interesting aspect of this trade for the Cardinals. And the reason for that is if DeSclafani makes the rotation for Seattle, where does Brian Wu go? Brian Wu's likely the one to be bounced out of that rotation. Mm-hmm. Could the Cardinals be interested in a young Brian Wu?
What does it take to get Brian Wu?
If he's going to be bounced out of the rotation, it shouldn't take much. I mean, we're not talking.
We're not talking. Okay,
we're not talking about Logan Gilbert.
Because that's a name that's been out there as well.
We're not talking about
for Logan Gilbert.
A stud.
Yes,
we're talking about a solid young starting pitcher.
Don't the Cardinals have solid starting young pitchers?
Yeah,
in the wing, wherever you are.
Carey, they've got them. Are they going to do anything? We have no idea.
So would you need to trade
the crap
away?
out of them?
Stockpile. I just want to see those guys have an opportunity this spring training. Greavy, Graceffo.
I want to see them dominate.
I want to see them play, get a chance to dominate, and maybe my thing is we talked about all for the Cardinals bullpen help. I honestly feel like bullpen help can come from younger players.
I'm fine with that too.
Like get some of those guys get them some rest. Same thing with Jamie was talking about, with Perunovic and not being on the top defensive line with Colton Parayko. You get younger players opportunities to play in less stressful moments, not high leverage moments, and that's how they become better players, and then they become stars. So the Cardinals have the people here. I don't know that you need to trade any viable option offensively for a person that's going to be in your bullpen.
I am fine with that approach with the bullpen. Going back to what you said about the youngsters, just don't bank on it. I think they should go out and they should sign proven big league talents, and then if somebody emerges, great. Then you have a good problem to have. I think what the Cardinals do is, we really like our guys, and then they don't do anything.
They stand there with their hands in their pockets.
Exactly. And then these guys,
we liked them.
We liked them.
But some of that also is on the player. Like the player has to become what you have been scouted or thought to be.
Absolutely.
Or hopefully developed into. You have to, some of that blame rests on the shoulder of the player. He has to show up and perform to the level that he is expected to do.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all people involved, and hopefully the Cardinals and some of these younger guys.
But stop thinking that you're crapping gold all the time.
Well, if you decided, if you picked something, you want what you picked to be successful.
Of course.
Correct. So,
but I'm not going to just assume it.
You're not going to throw it to the side. This stinks. That was a terrible decision by me.
No, but if somebody out there is Josh Hader, and look, it takes 2 to tango. He's got to be interested.
Yeah.
But if
You know how
Hader
you
were
make people
interested, I don't care how much I like my prospects.
You pay a little money.
I want to pay a little money,
Yeah.
and then I'm hoping that one of these I'm right on one of these prospects. They come in, they rip people's faces off in spring training, and now I got a really good problem to have. Why are we so against them going out and trying to really take the sledgehammer to the fly?
I don't think anybody's against it.
It ain't my
Carey
money.
seems like
it. Ain't my
Carey,
no.
I'm looking at this guy, and he's giving me a lot of crap.
I think
I'm
there's
not against it. Just not gonna happen.
There's the realistic expectations that you should have for this team,
Yeah.
and there's the expectations that you should have as a fan. And the expectation
There you go.
is that they should spend money and try to put together a ball club that can compete for a World Series. And then there's a realistic expectation that this team is not going to do anything worthwhile that
Right.
will actually do something in the playoffs,
Yeah.
or even get to the playoffs, especially after what we saw last season.
Do you think Josh Hader is gonna sign here for
No.
15 to 20 million a year?
I don't, but if he's
Why would
one,
he-
he's
why
still
would-
available. Two,
he is.
he's still available. Two, you have to at least see what his market is asking or what his representatives are asking.
You don't think they've even knocked on the door?
I don't know.
and-
I don't want to be unfair. I have no idea whether or not they reached out. They may have, and the representatives they would. Josh, for some reason, hates toasted Ravs. He's never going to St. Louis. Okay.
Well, I don't want him then.
Yeah, I don't want him either.
I don't want him.
Right, because if you don't like a solid toasted Rav, then get the hell out.
You got
get the hell
kids.
out. Yeah.
You need a free zoo.
Yes.
So you one or the other. You know what I mean? You can get you can.
St. Louis has a lot to offer.
There you go.
I mean, we go to the toasted Ravs and the free zoo a lot, but my word, Carey. I mean,
You got
there's
the arch.
You got the arch. You've got
Go
the
visit that.
the history museum.
A lot of things. Here.
You've got the Magic House.
Yeah, oh, I love
Great.
Magic House.
You ever like putting your hand on that
Yeah,
ball?
of course.
And
yeah.
it makes your hair stand
yeah.
up.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Ever go down that big slide? I mean, I haven't, but I've seen my kids do it.
They got the grocery store that has
They got the
fake food.
grocery store is incredible.
Don't get him started on grocery stores and Cardinals baseball.
Nobody wants to hear it. You get my point,
milk
though.
and eggs, and bread.
Real quick here, Aaron Rodgers has been in the news lately for certain reasons, but today he was voted by his teammates as the Jets' most inspirational player for the 2023 season.
Yeah, once they
because
lost him, they stunk.
he didn't stink. His season lasted 4 plays.
No, I'm not saying he stunk. I'm saying they realized without him,
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
screwed. So,
For sure.
you know,
Is it inspiring to see a guy work out and not come back to play?
I'm not inspired by that, but if you're the Jets, maybe you are.
You don't think that Brees Hall is more inspiring after tearing his ACL and coming back and performing?
Seriously.
What are we doing, man? What the-
I'm more
You know
inspired by
what?
Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson for dealing with that crap at quarterback. I'm inspired by that. Or the entire Jets
Robert
defense.
Saleh not blowing a gasket on the quarterback. So, like, there are more inspiring stories.
Yes.
On that Jets
Sorry, Marsh,
roster.
we totally cut you off. You were going to tell us why they voted for him. Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's as simple as him only playing 4 plays and just, coming back and doing nothing except for saying that he had this date in mind, and unfortunately they were out of playoff contention, so it didn't
Right.
make sense. Of course it.
Yeah.
I saw something that his rehab process actually could have gone faster if he would have stayed in California.
Yeah.
But he decided to come back because, well, then he needs his face to be everywhere, not only in New York, but on ESPN. And that's just Aaron Rodgers, though.
Yeah. I'll be back next year.
That other thing he did was pretty idiotic.
Yes.
That was stupid.
Well, that's one thing. Wait, you step over the line sometimes. Like, you know what? I'm just going to zing him one more to. Oh boy,
That was too much. Yep, went too far that time.
blanked
Don't
up.
apologize.
Yep.
I guarantee you he does not care.
No, not one bit. Everybody's beneath him. Keeping or dumping? We're going to do this with NFL head coaches next on 101 ESPN. Carey, the NFL playoffs are coming up, but we have basically an NFL playoff round this week. You've got games on Saturday, you got games on Sunday, and you've got playoff implications. No better place to bet at all than at FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. And here's the best part, Carey. That's $550 in bonus bets, win or lose.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's not bad.
No.
You can do that. I like the win or lose. That helps because I lose too many times.
No, sometimes.
Sometimes. Win more than lose.
You're going to win no matter what.
I'm going to win no matter what with this. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet. Live same-game parlays. You can find the new bets in the new Explorer tab, or you can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub. That's the best way to find the popular parlays and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Mars has got a really good six-pack question for us coming up in a little bit. I think you're going to like it, too, if you're a fan of nostalgia and theme music. But Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter, keeping or dumping Week 18 of the NFL season, and several teams are going to consider firing their head coach if they haven't already. 3 coaches already gone. As we know, the Raiders with Josh McDaniels, the Chargers with Brandon Staley, and the Panthers with Frank Reich. Let's go through this. I'm going to start off with an easy one. I'm going to start off with a layup. Commanders, Ron Rivera, keeping or dumping?
I think Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, is going to be dumped. You know, I don't know what else he could do. I don't know what else could have happened, but I don't think he'll be there after the game on Sunday. Well, they play Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be there a
Against the Cowboys.
couple of days after that.
No, I think that, what do they call it, Black Monday in the NFL?
Yeah,
he's not gonna,
it's a bad day.
Yeah, he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
If you're the Commanders, did you like anything about this season? I mean, a lot. There were some
how
people.
It started.
There were some people that thought the Commanders were at least a wild card team this year. I didn't see it, but by midseason, when you're trading your defensive line, basically.
Good. Sam Howell was leading the league in passing at one point, and you were excited about what Eric Bieniemy was bringing. I know offseason there was talks of how aggressive he was, and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you could see that it was making them better, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. They stink.
Ron Rivera looked like he's disinterested sometimes.
Would you be interested?
If I had a job to do, absolutely.
Well, the guy didn't even know they were in the playoff hunt last year.
Didn't know they were in a playoff hunt.
He didn't. That was bad.
He might not even know that he gets fired at the end of the year.
They
Marsh,
lost
how about
7 games in a row.
How about the fact that he came out and said, "Yeah, Sam Howell. If I knew he was this good, I would have played him last year." He was on your team. What do you mean if you knew he was this good? You're not paying attention?
Maybe not. This is a check that comes every Tuesday.
See ya.
That's all I'm worried about.
Bears, Matt Eberflus, keeper and dumping.
My heart of hearts wants to say that he won't have a job. If he does stay, I think Justin Fields stays as well. Mm-hmm. But
I think
I'm
they
going to say
keep him.
dump. You going to say keep?
I think they keep him.
You think they keep him and dump Justin Fields?
No, I think they keep him and they give Justin Fields the Daniel Jones contract at some point.
It won't be that much.
It will be that much.
It can't be that much.
Carey.
He got 2 more years left.
Why would Justin
Fields? He has 24.
Fields?
He has 4th year and then a 5th year option.
Why would Justin Fields take any less than Daniel Jones?
Why would you think you should deserve that much?
Daniel Jones didn't, but he got it.
Yeah, we'll have to have a discussion then.
I'm not saying he deserves it.
And we'll see what this season looks like.
You're saying keep him.
24. Yeah. Because he has this was his 3rd season, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So he has his 4th year, which he's still under contract. Then he has his 5th year option. So you still have time to figure out what Justin Fields is.
He'll get a contract from them at some point.
All right, if he does, he's going to be, because he's playing really well.
All right.
I think he's staying, by the way.
I think so, too.
I think
defense has improved.
Well, if you look at the team, if you look how they go about things, we talk about the Cardinals and how they go about managers. They don't want to fire guys. They want to give them some leeway. I look at the Bears. After Lovie Smith was there, you had Trestman, who was there for 2 seasons. He went 8-8 in his first year and then went 5-11 in his final year before they brought in John Fox. He had 3 seasons as well. Matt Nagy had 4 seasons. The reason why he was on the outs is because they progressively got worse. You look at Eberflus. Yeah, we could say all we want about Matt Eberflus, but last year they were 3-14. This year they could be 8-9. They have improved. Whether or not you think they're a good team, look at the records. They have improved. So you can't really, I mean, you can, but I don't see them firing Matt Eberflus when they had a better year than they did last year.
Yeah, good point. And he also overcame a lot. I mean, who was it? Was it the defensive line or defensive coordinator?
Got resigned.
We
the
still don't know.
Coach was
we still don't know what happened with that.
Yeah,
the running back coach got fired.
I don't know what I just remembered that as well. I'm like, what happened? We didn't hear much.
We didn't.
About what?
And there was something there. He was playing games with Tyson Badgett at one point. Like, I think Matt Eberflus has overcome a lot, and the team has improved over the last month. You get a win against Green Bay with everything on the line for the Packers this weekend, I think they keep them.
You mentioned the defense. Last year, they gave up 463 points. This year, 362. So a 101-point swing. Granted, you do have one more game left, so who knows what that would look like, but still improvement nonetheless from the defense.
Agreed. Patriots, Bill Belichick. I don't think that he should necessarily. Let me rephrase it.
I do.
I think he should be, but not because the team has gotten steadily worse. I think the message has probably grown. I think it's just time. I still think Bill Belichick can coach. In fact, I know he can.
He might be able to coach. He can't draft.
He can't draft. He needs a GM.
Like that, the draft picks that they've had, just the ability to play and play well has not been great. Mac Jones, you can't miss on certain positions, and they have missed a lot over the past really 5 to 7, maybe 10 years. It's not been great for the New England Patriots, and I agree. I think he's dumped just because the message is over. It's been a long time. He's had a great career there, obviously, but at some point you got to get some fresh blood in there, and hopefully that message is renewed amongst the players and amongst the entire organization.
And wherever Bill goes, there's gonna be a breath of fresh air for that team that he lands with.
Maybe he'll smile.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Dennis Allen, Saints.
See ya.
Yeah. You got to go.
Like, what does Dennis Allen do? I know he's a solid defensive coach, but what does he do well as a head coach? Like, I have to keep Dennis Allen.
You almost don't even know that he's there.
Great
If he was walking down the street, I wouldn't even know who he was.
No.
He could probably be walking down in New Orleans and people wouldn't know who he was.
I think casual NFL fans couldn't tell you who the Saints head coach is, or they just tell you Sean Payton.
Yeah.
That's how, insignificant he has been as a coach. Not as a person. My God, he's probably a great man.
For sure.
As a head coach, no, thank you.
No.
Robert Saleh.
I love how you just skipped over one.
No, I'll get to him. I'm going to save my best for last there. Robert Saleh.
Keep him. Anyone that has dealt with that mess.
He's part of it, though, isn't he?
Is he?
He is, especially with the quarterback situation midway through the year.
Which part?
He didn't even know what direction they were going in.
Would you know which direction to go if you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback?
You're the head coach.
And you got to keep people in line, too.
You're the head coach.
That locker room was up in the air at
Zach
times.
Wilson.
He pled the fifth one time in a radio interview. No, that's not my leader.
Zach Wilson was your starting quarterback last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the team, his teammates, wore the third-string quarterback's picture on their T-shirts.
That was Mike White, though. That guy's a legend.
Yeah. Where's he playing at now?
No idea.
Miami.
Exactly. Is he there you go. They had the third-string quarterback's picture walking around on their T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Saleh is doing the best he can do, man. He is.
They'll probably keep him. I don't think he lasts much longer than next year.
Keep him.
Falcons, Arthur Smith.
No.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
He might get fired before the game starts.
You know what, though?
He should get fired at halftime if they're getting pummeled.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to make the playoffs.
No.
And he will
way.
stay.
They're not beating the Saints.
And your life will be miserable for another year.
They're not beating the Saints. They're not. They are. This team has not been prepared in the second half of the season. This is the same man that has been gifted talent at every position outside of quarterback. I mean, that's not his fault, but it is his fault for sticking with Desmond
why is it
Ridder.
Robert Saleh's fault?
Robert Saleh is not, to me, somebody that I feel confident in, even when he went, when Aaron Rodgers went down, you could almost tell this was it. That was everybody's hope. That there was nothing there. I've seen Mike Tomlin, your guy, work with much less and still find ways to win.
I agree.
So I got to find a leader.
To Marcy's point, Arthur Smith may win this game and keep his job like Brandon Staley did. He should have been fired last year.
Smith?
Brandon Staley.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Staley should. Oh, absolutely.
But he kept his job after winning.
He did, and then look how that happened.
It didn't go great.
No. All right, so Smith gone. He gone. Mike Vrabel, I think he stays.
Well, if the reports are, we've heard a lot of things. If New England is in need or in search of a head coach, Mike Vrabel might be a really good coach for them if he decides to go that direction. Now, neither organization has a quarterback that they trust or believe in.
Right.
The Titans may be closer than the Patriots to having a quarterback.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
If you can squint. You might believe that.
Yeah.
I think he stays. And I think your guy Tomlin stays too.
Oh, Mike T's there.
Yeah.
Mike T's playing with the third-string quarterback. Come on, fellas.
He's always playing with the third-string quarterback.
Ben is hurt. Ben is out. He played when Ben was out. He won with Duck Hodges, man.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
When Ben was missing time.
Steelers fans, I literally heard a Steelers fan say that Mike Tomlin has been given a Ferrari. What are you talking about?
What Ferrari? Yeah.
What?
What
Kenny
game?
Pickett is not
injury?
good.
What are you doing?
Joe Flacco.
What are you saying? What are you watching?
Joe Flacco has been better than Kenny Pickett has in his entire career. This season, Joe Flacco has been better than Kenny Pickett in his entire career.
I'll give you that. Although Joe Flacco's been better than a lot of quarterbacks this year.
Well, I'm trying to prove your point, though.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying Joe Flacco's been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Carey might disagree, but
Carey's biased.
I just watch football with my eyes.
Joe Flacco's been fantastic.
fantastic?
Yes.
Not fantastic. He had a
This
really
guy was on his couch 5 weeks ago.
So you're basing it off of where he was in comparison to what he's doing. Because he was on the couch and he's playing
Joe Flacco.
Well, that makes it remarkable.
Joe Flacco has way better numbers than Justin Fields.
Just
The guy that you love.
I do.
Guy that you want to give the Patrick Mahomes contract to.
No, come on. I do, actually. What are we doing? $500 million. Get it done, Chicago. We're waiting. Yeah. Hey,
Joe
man.
Flacco's been great.
He's been good.
I can't wait till the Browns win that first playoff game.
He's been good.
All right, we're going to play Hot Take or Hot Garbage next. If you have a Hot Take or Hot Garbage for us, 314-399-9646. Hot Take, Hot Garbage next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues picked up a victory last night on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks. A 2-1 final. Colton Parayko and Robert Thomas picking up goals for the Blues. Once again, Blues 2-1 over the Canucks. They'll be back in action tomorrow night, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We were just talking about the NFL. We'll also have games for you on Sunday as the Patriots take on the Jets, Packers against the Bears, and the Dolphins against the Bills. Sunday Night Football with that kickoff at 7:20. We have hot take or hot garbage coming up next. So if you have a hot take, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Hot take or hot garbage coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by
Saliga
Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time for a little hot take or hot garbage here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with your hot take or hot garbage options.
All right, hot take or hot garbage coming from the 618. St. Louis and San Diego deserve an NFL expansion franchise, and it stays.
Hot take, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. It's just unfortunate.
How can you not have an NFL team here?
I don't know, man. It was. Who knows?
It's the Midwest.
Had a really good team.
This is a
Won a
great
championship.
sports city.
Yeah.
You can't deny it.
No.
When you've got the XFL working out here,
They show up and show out.
I mean,
For the
forget
Battlehawks.
when the PGA Championship came here. Everybody's like, "Oh, see, everybody showed up." Of course it is. It's PGA
Right.
Championship.
Right.
Look at some of the other smaller sports that this city has backed, has been profitable for, has had TV ratings for. The XFL being the number one thing, but you had an expansion, and this isn't look, MLS, XFL.
Yeah.
Forget the levels of whatever, but when you have an expansion soccer team come in here,
And they did
it
well.
is rabid.
And it showed. They showed up.
Come on now.
Yeah. I agree.
I can't speak to San Diego, but I'm sure they're a good city too.
Yeah, Ron Burgundy.
Now, why would you do that? What did San Diego do to you?
Nothing. I was just saying Ron Burgundy.
Okay.
No, I do like San Diego. San Diego is a lovely city. It's a beautiful place. I feel bad for any team, any city that loses their sports team. I mean, I look at Oakland right now, who have lost in the last 5 years football, basketball, baseball. Like, that's awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the fans.
No.
It's got everything to do with the team and the city's battling. The city's battling with the state, all that. Here, if the NFL does come back, and I think it's a long shot, I really do. But if the NFL does come back, I hope it's an expansion team.
I agree.
You get an expansion team from St. Louis, get out of here. Get out of here. Rabid.
Yeah.
They playing at the Dome, or are they playing somewhere
no,
else?
I was about to say, let's get an actual facility for them.
Where would you put the stadium? Would you keep it downtown next to all the rest of them?
Yes. Yeah. Now,
Like same area?
Is it a dome, retractable? Is it open?
No, open air. Open air.
You want a football team.
Real grass, open air.
You trying to build something.
Darn right I am. Expansion.
I did like the concept stadium that was drawn up before the team actually left.
Was that the one with the retractable?
I don't think
Wasn't it right on the river?
It was right on the river.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know if it
open
was
air.
retractable.
No,
though.
I think it was open air. I think
Yeah,
you're
that
right.
looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that was north of Laclede Landing. I think they were looking at putting it there.
Yes.
That'd be fine too.
Yes.
That's an area you can certainly revamp. So, yeah, but no, not at the Dome. No, that place is a dungeon. I mean, great for events and things
got
like that,
character.
but from a football standpoint,
I got a staph infection in there.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Pretty sure that's where it came from.
Off the carpet that you were playing on?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. wonder if it's too late to sue. You think so?
I think so, yeah. Or, hey, go for it, but you're probably wasting your time and your money.
Darn it. I need to talk to somebody.
Reggie Bush, remember when Reggie Bush got hurt?
Slipped. He sued. He sued right away. Smart man. Got paid, too.
Sure he did.
Good for him.
Go ahead.
Hot take or hot garbage from the 217. The Cards draw under 3 million fans this season.
Ooh.
This is not a cop-out, but are they good or not? Because if they're not good, fans are not going to show up. No fan base is going to support a losing team.
I will say that for the first time in my life that I can recall, last season was an eye opener. Mm-hmm. When that team, when you knew they weren't going to, they were 20 games under 500 at one point, and people stopped showing up. You could see it either when you're at the game or when you're watching the game on TV.
And good for them.
I agree, because nobody should have to pay for a bad product. You shouldn't have to spend your hard-earned money. And it felt like that the Cardinals, I mean, not that the guys aren't trying, because nobody wants to show up and not win. Like, everyone's trying their best. They just weren't good enough. Yeah. And so, you got to make your team better. You got to find ways to get your team better, whether it's through coaching, whether it's adding people, eliminating people. Mm-hmm. You have to find a way to get better, and hopefully they will be. I'm going to say it's hot garbage, because I think they will be better than they were last season.
I'm going to say hot garbage, too, because I think the division stinks. It's got less to do with the Cardinals. And that's probably going to be my take.
The division stunk last year, didn't it? I think it was better.
I think it's going to be worse this year.
Could you see a scenario where
because I don't think the Brewers are going to be as good.
Fans don't show up even if the team is doing slightly good?
No. If it's in contention, quote unquote,
they'll be there.
They'll be there. Yeah. Because they love baseball. This is and that's not dopey, by the way. I'm not saying, they'll just line up to see mediocre baseball. No, the fans here in St. Louis want to support the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. They're dying to. They love the Cardinals. I mean, opening day is unbelievable. It is something I have never seen before in my life, and I've lived in different markets. It is unbelievable, the energy that St. Louis provides for the home opener for the Cardinals. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Some people yell at us like, hey, the team's going to listen to you. No, they're not. They're not going to listen to me. Yeah. They're not going to listen to Jamie. They're not going to listen to Carey. They're not going to listen to Marsh. They're not even going to listen to somebody that is as well respected as Randy Carricker. They're not going to listen to they don't care. You have the power to shake things up.
Yes, you do.
By not going through the gates, by not paying the parking, by not going to the concession stands, by not showing up. The ownership group, front office, looking out at a sea of red seats, that makes a difference. Not what some idiot like me says. You have that power, not me.
Do you think
don't show up if you don't like the product?
Do you think it'd actually make a difference if people don't show up?
Absolutely.
Or will it be one of those, we didn't have a lot of gate revenue this year, so we actually have to cut back on spending?
That's fine. But in this tug of war, I'll side with the fans. Because if you lose, good luck. I don't care what business model you have.
It's hard to sustain when you don't have money coming in.
Then draft better.
No, I'm saying that
to you.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
if
saying that's the mindset.
Their thing. Yeah, that's their mindset.
Yeah.
Right. If that's your mindset to what you just said, hey, we can't spend, we didn't get the gate revenue. Okay, draft better then.
I think it's develop
Make
better.
Trades, develop better, whatever it is. I'm just saying you don't have to. I've never been in the camp of you have to spend big to win. That's not the case. The Tampa Bay Rays disprove that every single year. Now, do they win a championship? No. But you can't tell me that that's not impressive in that division, what they do every year. They don't spend. The last time they spent, dude, they're looking for that dude right now to put him in jail.
I think they found him.
Did they find him?
They found him.
Boy, they'll find you, right? Huh? They'll find you.
Yeah, and it's even worse than what we initially thought, but that's for another conversation.
My point is, the Rays don't spend. And they find a way to put a competitive team on the field in that division. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me that you have to spend. You don't have to spend. You have to be smart, though. Yeah. You have to make the right decisions. You have to develop, to your point, Marsh, and get after it. But fans are not going to support a loser, nor should you. It's your money. Now, somebody gives you tickets, that's a, that's it's a different thing.
Yeah,
Go
I
for
mean,
it.
Yeah. Anthony, you gave me tickets last year. They're
I
great
did.
seats.
Yeah, I did.
I saw Jack Flaherty throw scoreless baseball.
There
He
you
walked
go.
like 9 people.
Oh,
Nice.
he won that game, though.
They did win that game.
Nice. Was that early on, or
That
did
was
I give you
very
some
early on.
Okay,
I
all
remember
right.
that. It was like,
In fact,
the
I think it was the
second game. First and second start. Yeah, it was
Oh,
second
well, there
start.
you go. Good, Marsh.
I think it was they were playing the Blue Jays.
I remember.
Might have been.
I remember giving you the tickets, but as we reflected, I'm like, did I set that poor kid up for disaster?
Well, it wasn't only me, too. It was Action Jackson was with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
And another buddy, too.
You keep up the good work, Marsh. All right.
you.
You get rewarded. Cardinals tickets.
Mediocre baseball.
Exactly. Speaking of the Cardinals, did we get any mic drops on the midseason awards?
We certainly did.
All right, we're going to get back into that. So Jim Bowden of The Athletic gave the Cardinals a B for their offseason awards. We didn't even get into the one part that I thought was really interesting in that little blurb he had. So we'll do that. Also take your mic drops next on 101 ESPN. in the show, we talked about Jim Bowden's midseason, off-season grades, and he gave the Cardinals a B. And we asked for your mic drops. And I don't want to get to another point without playing some mic drops first, because then it's like, hey, let's hear from you. And then we'd keep talking, Carey.
Go ahead.
So let's get to Droid first. Let's hear from Droid.
Sup, guys? It's Droid in the snake pit.
Yeah, Droid.
Hey, so I think I had more questions going into last year because with the starting rotation, because there was Mo said, oh, we have 6 starting pitchers. And I was like, I'm looking around like Will Smith and Bel Air. I'm like, bro, where are the starting pitchers? At least this year, you know what you got. You know what you have. There's certainty that is available in our starting rotation this year. Yeah, maybe it's not the best, but you know what you have. And I feel like just knowing what's available, you know what kind to expect. Is this team going to suck and this might be a terrible 162 games and it's going to be absolutely miserable summer? Yeah, absolutely possible. But I'm kind of optimistic. The offense is below average, too. They were terrible with runners in scoring position. So, I don't know. We'll see how it all pans out. Anything can really happen. But, hey, just get in, baby. Just get in. I love you guys.
Nice job, Droid. Shout out to the snake pit. I'm actually, I feel a little more sane now after Droid talked about how last year I thought, because I had the same opinion as he did. Last year, the starting rotation had more question marks. I remember that. And then I talked to Carey and Marsh, and, they gaslit me into thinking that it's more rotation question marks now.
You don't know. No, that's not how it happened.
My guy Droid got my back. Thank you, Droid. That's exactly what happened. There were more question marks heading into last year.
In your opinion?
I think universally. Isn't my opinion the one that everybody has?
Clearly.
No. Okay. Let's hear from Courtney next.
Good afternoon, fellas. I got to go with Anthony on this one.
Yes.
He's right. That rotation from last season, man, oh, man. Adam Wainwright. I was upset. I love Adam Wainwright, the person, but re-signing him for the amount they signed him for was a big mistake, and I knew it was a mistake. You could have re-signed Jose Quintana for the amount of money you gave Adam Wainwright. They put legacy before winning in that signing. Then you look at Jack Flaherty, Mr. We waiting on the 2018 Jack. No, you're not going to see that Jack. He was pitching like he had a bottle of Jack in his locker before every game. Wow. Then you had Steven Matz, Mr. I can't pitch today because I'm injured. You had to question him just because of injuries. That whole rotation was just a band of misfits. But I think what threw me completely off was the bullpen. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the amount of blown saves. That, if they would have just been half as good, they would have been a playoff contending team.
Got a point there. Mm-hmm. The bullpen did really let you down. But
they were terrible.
Well, they weren't great.
20, I think it was 27 blown saves.
Was it that many?
I think it was
the starting pitching is where it all began, and so that was bad. But again, going into we're talking about prior to spring training, prior to a pitch being thrown at any point for the 23 season. I feel like I had more confidence in what they had. Now, would I have had even more confidence, as Courtney said, if they would have kept Jose Quintana? Yeah, because I watched him in a playoff game, and he pitched pretty damn good. And for some reason, for the life of me, I still don't know why the hell he was taken out of the game. Still trying to figure that out. Don't know why, but again, I don't coach baseball. I just watch it. So I leave that to the people that do it, and I don't think they did a good job in that situation. Just my opinion. But going into the 23 season, I felt like that rotation. Miles Michaelis had a year that we didn't see that coming.
No, it was up and down.
Was it up?
He had some really good months. Just sandwiched in between
some really bad months.
The worst months he's ever had in his career. May was excellent.
So you're more confident. You are more confident in a pitching staff that allowed top 5 in hits, top 5 in earned runs last season, and are older than the staff was last year. Not anyone, because obviously Wainwright was on that staff, but older than, as a group, as a total, as a whole, older than the group that was last year.
I am not more confident. No, there are fewer questions than there were a year ago, and yes,
okay.
Two guys last year you felt good about. Miles Michaelis.
How many you feel good about this year?
And Montgomery.
3?
1.
Let me rephrase.
Sonny Gray.
Let me rephrase.
And he had a career year last year against teams in the AL Central.
I know what Sonny Gray is. I know what Lance Lynn is. I know what Kyle Gibson is. I know what, for the most part, Miles Michaelis is, even with last year. I don't know what Steven Matz is.
So
last year, I didn't know what Steven Matz was. I didn't know what Adam Wainwright was. I didn't know what Jack Flaherty was.
Let's take Miles Michaelis and Steven Matz off, okay? And just go with the 3 new people.
Yes.
So Jordan Montgomery, Jack Flaherty, Adam Wainwright, right? Those 3 guys versus Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray, and Lance Lynn.
Yes.
And
I have way fewer question marks about that.
I can.
But you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying more confident. I'm not saying better. I'm very clear on this. I am not saying that I like this rotation better, because then what happens is people are like, you said you liked the rotation. No. What I'm saying is last year there were way more question marks, in my opinion, than there are right now. It does not mean better or more confident.
I think last year I didn't have as many question marks because the season before,
I'm with you.
They made the playoffs with virtually the same guys.
Yeah.
This year they were terrible, and they didn't do anything really to make themselves like a World Series contender or even like a playoff contender. I think they did enough to maybe get themselves back to 500. Now, he mentioned the bullpen. Courtney mentioned the bullpen. Maybe these guys do give you innings to save the bullpen, and we could attribute the bullpen's downfall to the amount of innings that they had to eat. So maybe you get a little bit more confident in that scenario. But I think right now it's because of the hindsight's 2020. I feel like there's questions now because of what they did last year as a team, and that includes like the offense too. So I think there's still questions for me heading into this season than last year because of the year before, Carey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. The year before what gave me confidence that last season's team was going to be really good. They won 90 games the year before, right? You didn't assume that they would lose 91. It wouldn't be that drastic of a turnaround in 1 year. And so all things being equal, you would assume that they would have a really good year. And now I just don't know. I always like to take the wait and see approach because I was so high on the team last year and so excited about what they had in front of them, and it just turned out really bad.
Yes.
And so I'm glad they did go get 3 new starters because obviously that was a need for this team. We'll see how well they do.
We got the Gauntlet. We got Ben coming back.
Come on back, Ben.
Yep. Justice for Ben. We're going to redo yesterday's Gauntlet here, round
Never
3.
happened.
Next on 101 ESPN.
categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
So yesterday in the Gauntlet, I defeated Ben, but there was some
I don't read well.
controversy. No, you did. Look.
No, I've added a word that was a little bit controversial. So
And it was a little confusing, potentially. Yeah. Look, maybe it benefited me. Maybe it worked against Ben. Either way, we heard your complaints on the Air Comfort Service text line. We listened to we reviewed the film.
We did.
And we said, you know what? We're going to bring Ben back. Ben, to his credit, though, and welcome, Ben. Ben, to his credit, did not complain.
He did not.
Said, I'm not worried about it. And that was it.
He's the true competitor.
Absolutely. So, Ben, welcome back.
Hey, well, glad to be here. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So we're just basically yesterday didn't happen. So it's going to be another football category. It's round 3.
Yep.
You beat me today. You'll take Marsh on for the Gauntlet Trophy on Monday. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Good luck, Ben.
Yep, you too.
Thanks.
All right, Ben, we are not spinning the wheel like Anthony just said. We are sticking with football. You have 4 questions. If you get the question right without using the options, you get 2 points. If you get the question right using the options, you get 1 point. And if you do not get the question right, you get 0 points. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Who recently won the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl?
Ole Miss, final answer.
All right, Ben. Who is the all-time leader in passing yards for Ole Miss?
Eli Manning, final answer.
Question number 3. Which team did Archie Manning play for in 11 of his 15 NFL seasons?
New Orleans Saints, final answer.
All right, Ben. Who was the Titans quarterback the last time they made it to the Super Bowl?
Steve McNair, final answer.
All right.
All right.
Bring Anthony. Oh, he's probably flustered right now on how quick that was.
That was very quick, and so Anthony is going to. Anthony, you got your head. You ready? Your mind.
Did
right?
you even have a chance to sit down?
No, I just told Tommy Madden, our boss. I'm like, that was quick, man.
Anthony Stalter,
Yeah.
I love you like a brother.
Yeah.
You are my guy. We are almost twins, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. People often get us confused with one another when we're standing in the hall.
Certainly, yeah.
Pack a lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here we go. Question number 1. Who recently won the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl?
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I'm going to need some options on this one.
Options are Maryland, Penn State, Ole Miss.
Maryland, Penn State, or Ole Miss? Well, this one, okay. Maryland played in Nashville. So it wasn't that. Ole Miss, or Penn State lost to Ole Miss. So it couldn't have been Penn State, so give me Ole Miss. Ole Miss, final answer.
All right. Who is the all-time leading passer for... Who is the all-time leader in passing yards for Ole Miss?
You would think it'd be Eli Manning. Yeah, I'll just go with, I'll go with Eli. Eli Manning, final answer.
Question number 3. Which team did Archie Manning play for in 11 of his 15 NFL seasons?
The New Orleans Saints, final answer.
Last question. Who was the Titans quarterback the last time they made it to the Super Bowl?
The Titans, when the last time they made it to the Super Bowl. Well, that had to be Steve McNair. I'm not overlooking the fact that they got to the Super Bowl some other time, right? Steve McNair. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these questions. This is a barn burner, as the kids say. We'll start with question number 4 and work our way backwards. Who was the Titans quarterback the last time they made it to the Super Bowl? Ben, you said Steve McNair. Anthony, you said Steve McNair. The correct answer is...
Steve McNair.
We're all tied up at 2.
All right.
Question number 3. Which team did Archie Manning play for in 11 of his 15 NFL seasons? Ben, you said the New Orleans Saints. Anthony, you said the New Orleans Saints. Correct answer is
The New Orleans Saints.
tied at 4.
Wow.
Question number 2. Who is the all-time leader in passing yards for Ole Miss? Ben, you said Eli Manning. Anthony, you said Eli Manning. Correct answer is
Peyton's brother, Eli Manning.
Wow.
comes down to the final question. Who recently won the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl? Ben, you said Ole Miss.
Oh, boy.
Anthony, you said Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Correct answer is
Ole Miss.
what? Ben didn't use the options.
Oh, congrats.
You have
Ran the
chosen
table.
wisely.
Ben, that was impressive, man. You earned that one. Holy
Yeah, buddy.
smokes. Nice
you, sir.
job.
Thank you.
So I lost on the first question.
Yeah.
Yes.
By taking the options, I lost. Yeah. Ben, congrats, man. You're going to be back for the 4th rounds. You're going to take on Andrew Marsh on Monday for a Gauntlet trophy.
right. Sounds like a plan. You
Nice.
guys have a good weekend.
Hey, you
Good job,
too,
Ben.
man. Nice job. Nice job.
All right. See ya.
Boy, you can't say anything
Marsh,
on that one.
I hope you don't get football. That's all I'm going to say. 'Cause
was impressive.
he's ran through the football, the gauntlet.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job.
He's been excellent. Yep.
Man. Yeah, I mean, it was over before it began.
It was.
I wouldn't have gotten. I had to do. Well, you saw what I did. I knew
Yeah.
that Maryland played
Yep.
in Nashville, so that wasn't the Peach Bowl,
Yep.
and I knew Penn State lost
Yep.
to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So I did the old process eliminate, but I don't think I ever would have gotten the fact that Ole Miss won the Peach Bowl.
You got to care about bowl games more.
I do care about him, but Ben cares about him more, and he deserved the fact
Clearly.
that he's going to go into the Gauntlet Championship on Monday. So Marsh, you got your work cut out for you,
Man,
bud.
Yeah.
the closer returns. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully it's not
Absolutely.
this
Please take care of
version
business.
like the Cardinals bullpen.
Yep.
Like that we just talked about.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. All right, 4:11. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We could talk about quarterbacks and what they're going to be and whether or not they're a franchise quarterback and all that. This time of year is when they're made, though. We're going to get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, let me tell you about Mint STL, MINT STL. That is the Midwest Institute for Non-Surgical Therapy. If you're a man that is struggling with using the restroom, maybe getting up in the middle of the night, feeling like you need to go but can't quite get going, you could be suffering from benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH, also known as an enlarged prostate. My friend Dr. Akinwande at Mint STL has the solution, and that solution is called prostate artery embolization, or PAE. It's a groundbreaking, minimally invasive procedure that treats BPH. This procedure will literally help get you going again. Following the treatment, the prostate usually shrinks within 24 to 48 hours, and most people will notice a difference within a month or two. And over a 6-month period, the prostate could be reduced by around 40%. There are lower risks for complication, no hospital stay, no sutures, scarring, or general anesthesia. Reach out to Mint STL today to schedule your appointment and see how you can get to going and feeling better. MINTSTL.com. That's MINTSTL.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
I was thinking about Tua Tagovailoa heading into Sunday night's game against the Bills, Carey. And we've had, I feel like Tua, and rightfully so, I mean, he leads the league in passing this year, at least heading into Week 18. He's had a remarkable season. He has stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Like, this has been a great year, all things considered, for Tua. I also, though, think about what's next. We talk about Brock Purdy and whether or not he can win one and whether or not he benefits from having all these pieces around him. Of course, what quarterback wouldn't?
Right.
Tua benefits, too, from having Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and everything else. But this is the time of year where quarterbacks are made, in my opinion.
I agree.
The postseason doesn't start until next week, but for all intents and purposes,
It's really now.
it's now for these teams. I think this is when you really find out what you have at the quarterback position. You can project. You can say, like, I love Justin Herbert. And we can say, but he's been held back and all that. He hasn't won a playoff game yet.
Right.
He was up big last year. His team couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
He couldn't get it done. We're going to find out about certain guys. I think Tua and Brock Purdy are at the top of this list, but I would put Tua even higher than Purdy because Purdy actually has a playoff win already. Won last year.
So you think Tua is the quarterback with the most to gain or prove from this postseason run?
I think this is, out of all the quarterbacks that could be or will be playing in the playoffs next week, Tua is the guy that I circled to say, we're about to really find out what you have.
You know who it is for me?
Who?
Josh Allen.
He's got playoff wins.
He doesn't have the playoff win. He hasn't made it to a conference championship game. He hasn't made it to a Super Bowl. And he's a quarterback that has been considered, one of the top 5 quarterbacks here over the past 4 or 5 years, right? He's thought of in that light. And the fact that they were so bad earlier this year and had to claw their way back into where they are now, we all remember that playoff game against Kansas City where they were 13 seconds away from, that was an electric game. That game just back and forth, whoever got the ball last, you knew was going to win.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that from him since. They lost in the playoffs to the Bengals last year.
Got blank stomped.
They got beat at home. With DeMar Hamlin
Snow
there,
and all that,
it was like, Cincinnati, it doesn't matter. We would have done this earlier in the season.
We got your Josh Allen right here.
It doesn't matter to us. What the hell are you doing? So I think Josh Allen is another name, and because of who he plays for and where he plays, and because of who they are,
Dak.
There you go.
Yeah.
The expectation of having that star on your helmet. He got to win. He got at least, NFC Championship game or bust is how I feel about Dak Prescott. That's
You're the
how I feel.
seed.
You got to make it there, man.
Yeah.
And so those two quarterbacks, Brock Purdy is still young. Jared Goff has actually been to a Super Bowl. I think people tend to forget that. Man, Jared Goff stinks. No, he actually led a team to a Super Bowl. They lost, but he's been there.
Didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that sometimes.
It's neither here nor there.
It doesn't matter. What are we talking about? And then maybe Lamar Jackson.
I think Lamar's a good one. But here's how I'm couching this, okay? So when Josh Allen and the Bills lost in that 13-second game at Arrowhead, you walked away knowing that Josh Allen was a dude.
Yeah, but he ain't done it since.
You're right. I'm not excusing that. I'm not minimizing that. But I'm really talking about at least that guy can win a playoff game or put on an absolute clinic at the highest of levels. Josh Allen didn't lose that game. The coaching staff lost it. The defense lost it.
The football.
And Patrick Mahomes won it. Yeah, should have squibbed all that. But Allen was such a stud in that game. He performed at the highest of levels. I agree. He's got he hasn't done anything until you won a Super Bowl and all that. I'm not talking about legacy. I'm talking about knowing that you have the guy to lead your franchise. I think Tua falls into that category of we're about to find out.
What about Jordan Love? He's in the same situation that Aaron Rodgers was in last year. Final game of the year, a chance to win and make it to the playoffs. Yeah. And I think that he can change the minds of a lot of people that look at what he has been this season.
I think Jordan Love has just started his journey. Maybe you could make the same case for Tua, but expectations change along the way. And what Tua and the Dolphins have been able to do this year, my expectations for them have changed. Now I want to see them win and him win a big game.
Yeah.
When it comes to Jordan Love, Marsh, you know this going in. I really liked Love. I thought he was going to prove a lot of people wrong, and he started off well. Then it was like I really regretted what I was saying in the postseason or in the preseason.
You didn't believe,
and then at the end here, I'm like, okay, this is why I like him.
You didn't believe hard enough.
I didn't believe hard enough.
That's what it is.
But if he wins this one, to go on the road and all that, I don't have the same. Let's see if he can win a big game with Jordan Love as I do with Tua right now.
Yeah,
Dak's an interesting one, though.
I think Jordan Love has time. I mean, he's fourth year, but he's first year starter, so you kind of give him a pass.
In the shadow of Aaron Rodgers.
Yes,
he had to get through that first.
Correct. And I think he's done a really good job so far this year. But as you said, Dak Prescott being that one. I mean, this is a franchise that they expect to win championships, and they haven't been to a conference championship in 25, 30 years. It's been a while. So they are a team that, and they've been close a couple of times, but just some calls here or there that didn't go their way.
They got Aaron Rodgers the one time.
They did, yeah.
When they were a 1 seed.
Dez fumbled the ball. It wasn't a fumble. It was a catch, and, some things happen. That's a team that I think, first of all, they got to win the division. If they win the division, regardless of what Philadelphia does. So win the division so that you stay at that second seed and make life a little bit easier on you. But that's a name that is intriguing for me. Just seeing, and again, Lamar Jackson, because he's more than likely going to be your MVP this season. Done a great job.
Yeah.
But the playoff runs haven't been there.
I think Dak and Lamar are in the same category. Now, understand, I'm not saying they're the same player.
Right.
Lamar's a more dynamic player. But they're in the same category in my eyes, Carey. It's great that you brought those two up. I agree. Mm-hmm. Both guys have had outstanding seasons.
Yes.
This is the best version, in my opinion, of Dak Prescott that we have seen. Marsh, you know this. Jamie knows this. Everybody kept having the conversation about whether or not it was Lamar or the offense. And, Carey, you and I kept saying on the Gridiron Guys podcast, it was the offensive coordinator.
Oh, it was terrible.
It was the offense. It was
really bad.
He was doing everything he could to elevate an offense that had zero imagination, that was incredibly predictable, and you got him a real OC that puts together real game plans with a real offense, and he's an MVP again.
Yep. Does that coincide with him being healthy this year, too?
Certainly. It certainly does.
All of that is tied in. I mean, just the health is a big part of it. He missed 5 games last year. He only played in 12, and 21. You being healthy and you getting an OC, Anthony and I talked about it often. Mm-hmm. There were times last year where you would have 2 guys literally standing right behind each other. And it would happen so many times. Like, once is a mistake by the players. Mm-hmm. Multiple times, that's where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, right. You're coaching it.
That's not.
You're coaching it.
Sound play scheming. Like, that's not a sound play. It's not a great scheme. So, I think they got that corrected. And you've seen the best version of Lamar Jackson and what they are. Now you got to see. They get a first round bye. Mm-hmm. He'll get essentially 2 weeks off because he's not playing this weekend. 2 weeks off, and then get to play whoever is left to face their number one seeded team, and see if he's able to get a couple of wins.
No doubt.
So if they do not win, let's say they lose, maybe it's not the first round or the first game that they play, but it could be the second. They don't get to the Super Bowl. Does that change your opinion on Lamar Jackson, given what he's done this season?
It depends. If he has a Josh Allen game like Josh Allen did in Kansas City, then I would say Josh Allen's capable. Is the team ready?
If Lamar has that type of game,
Lamar has that type of game,
that defense is different.
Yeah, you would think so. But if he does, let's just play the hypothetical game. He doesn't, I would still say, it's Lamar. Let's see if the team is ready next time.
If they don't make it to at least the AFC Championship game, that's a problem. If they lose in the divisional round,
that's fair.
After having the bye, which means they had the week off, and they lose in the divisional round to whoever they end up playing. Then that's problematic.
That would be problematic.
You make it to the AFC Championship game,
Talking about the best 4 teams.
There you go. The Eagles and the 49ers made it last year. The Eagles won that game, but, a quarterback injury prevented the best version of that game.
Debo Samuel said we would have won by 3 touchdowns if Brock Purdy were healthy, and then they went into Philadelphia this year and won by 3 touchdowns or whatever it was. Might have been more.
So if there's an injury in that game, then maybe you look in a different way, but you got to at least make it to the AFC Championship game if you're Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't see the defense being the reason why that Ravens team loses. They are something else.
Yeah,
Keep
and
an eye
they get to
on-
practice next week too, which is huge.
Yeah,
Like,
they do. They that is going to.
you're gonna have a full practice.
Yes, they've had some injuries on the defensive side though. You keep an eye on a couple of linebackers.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's Patrick Queen. His shoulder it's been looking like it's bothering him. But again, 2 weeks.
How good too did Roquan Smith look?
He looks amazing.
Man,
The Bears let him go.
of course they did.
Why?
The Bears.
Right. Makes sense.
What about Baker
Feeder
Mayfield?
team to good teams.
If
I should
Baker
know. I'm a Falcon
Mayfield-
fan.
If the Bucks win this week, they make the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would take on most likely the Eagles.
Philly. Yeah.
If they beat the Eagles. Now the Eagles aren't playing well right now, but does that change the narrative on Baker Mayfield?
Yes. He's got no running game. Mm-hmm.
Which is surprising because I thought Rashad White was.
Yeah, they've got no
He's had
running game.
spurts throughout the year.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's
just not
it's not
consistent enough.
consistent at all. Todd Bowles, everybody had Todd Bowles on their bingo card to be fired. You know, before, one of the first coaches fired, and all Baker Mayfield has done is play really well. I would say yes. Yeah, and I've been a staunch Baker Mayfield is fine. He's just fine throughout his
He's
career.
been really good.
He's been very good
he's
this
the
year.
Comeback player of the year.
Joe Flacco's the comeback player of the year, but
DeMar Hamlin is actually going to be the comeback player.
probably, yeah. I mean, the guy nearly died on the field. You're not going to give it to him? Come on.
Yeah, he's probably.
Get out of here. All right. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Store Sports Six Pack next. You got a question for us? Send it in to the Air Comfort Service section. Actually, timeout. Wait a second here. Cardinals got potential trade? Ooh. Uh-oh. Well, you're not going to like it. Tell you what it is next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues won last night by a final score of 2-1 over the Vancouver Canucks. They'll be back in action tomorrow taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pregame starting at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Go to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. There has been a trade in Major League Baseball involving your St. Louis Cardinals, and we will dive into that next, coming up right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
All right, I appreciate, Carey appreciates, Andrew Marsh appreciates all the texts that come in throughout the show. The Air Commerce Service text line 314-399-9646. The Cardinals are nearing a trade. I know we got a lot of responses saying, hey, why aren't you? How are you guys not talking about this? I didn't see it. I was talking to Carey.
We were working.
We were having a conversation. I'm not monitoring Twitter while Carey's talking. I mean, we'll get to it. I do appreciate all the listeners, letting us know. And all. Marsh is all over it. He wrote me a note. I didn't see it. It's okay.
All right.
We're
here
talk
now.
about it.
I think people were hoping for the breaking news alert.
Well, give it to them, Marsh. Give it to them right in their faces, right in their ear holes.
Breaking news alert?
Yeah, right in their ear holes. Give it to them hard.
Everybody, are you ready? 3, 2,
Here comes Marsh right in your
1.
ear.
101 ESPN Breaking News Alert.
Anthony lost the gauntlet before it even started.
Come on. All right, Ken Rosenthal and Joel Sherman. Joel Sherman originally had the tweet, but so he originally had the story. The Cardinals are working to acquire right-handed reliever Andrew Kittredge from the Rays for outfielder Richie Palacios. That's right, Richie Palacios.
No!
So I said you might not like it. Kittredge returned from Tommy John surgery in August, but he held opponents to a 683 OPS in 14 outings. Palacios, though, was basically the Cardinals' best player down the stretch and will likely be a postseason god for the Tampa Bay Rays.
That's how that
a la
works.
Randy Arozarena.
That's usually how that works, huh?
Yes. So Joel Sherman again reporting. All kidding aside, and I'm really not kidding. Richie Palacios will be a great player for the Rays. The Rays know what they're doing, and the fact that John Mozeliak decided to make another deal with the Rays, I think, is just stupid all the way around. However, I'm not going to sit here and say show after show that the Cardinals need to address their bullpen and then criticize a deal. This, based on where Andrew Kittredge was last year with a 3.09 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP and a 10-2 strikeout to walk ratio over 11 2/3 innings, and based on what he's done throughout his career before the Tommy John, this is a good deal. Richie Palacios emerged last year as a stud. It was a short spurt. He earned an opportunity, Carey, to go to spring training and carve out a big role for him. But the fact of the matter is, you need bullpen help.
You do.
And if outfield depth is going to get you bullpen help, which you just did or is on the verge, now it's official according to Katie Wu.
And St. Louis Cardinals just tweeted it.
There you go. So if you need bullpen help, which you do, and you're using outfield depth in order to acquire it, I'm not going to complain. Now, it's going to hurt when Richie Palacios wins Tampa Bay Rays Player of the Year next year. But
I think that's the main concern that Cardinal fans have, right?
Don't even have it be a concern. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's what the fear is. But you needed help. And I guess the question would be, honestly, where does Richie Palacios get at bats if he's here? All right, he's your fifth outfielder. Maybe
he becomes your fourth, depending on if Dylan Carlson is hurt or not hurt or underperforming, all that. But yeah, he was going to be a fifth outfielder.
Alec Burleson is still there. He's playing some. You're gonna have to find an opportunity for him. And here's an opportunity for him to have probably have success elsewhere, but you get something in return that is a need. And I think we talked about that grade that I was going to say Bobby Bowden.
Jim Bowden.
Jim Bowden gave the Cardinals, which was a B, right, based off of the needs. Well, here's another need that they have. They did a great job in the offseason of this offseason so far of getting starting pitching because that's been a need. Mm-hmm. This is a need. The bullpen has been a need, all last season and going into 2024. So the Cardinals are working their way. Now, it's not the splash names that people want or may be aware of, but they are getting better, incrementally better, I think, with every decision that they made this offseason.
Yeah, this isn't Josh Hader.
Right.
You're going to be disappointed. And a lot of people liked watching Richie Palacios last year. Don't blame me. He was great. But you don't know what he's going to be. So
the Rays do.
The Rays do, yeah. I should probably stop saying that. I should just stick with the fact that he's going to be the Rays' best player next year, and he will be. But you needed bullpen arms. I hope they're not done. I'm going to say that after every deal that they make. I like this move.
Anthony, you said that people in the front office don't listen to us. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's any secret that the minute we talk about the bullpen being terrible last year, they make a move.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're trying to tell the Texers that we don't have any leverage here.
And we don't.
I mean, this says otherwise.
You may have more than you think there, sir.
Mo was probably listening to what you were saying, and he goes, I gotta make a call. Who's available? I got the Rays on speed dial.
You know what? He thought it. Mo thought it, and then the Rays called him.
They're listening.
They're listening.
They're listening. They know.
What do they need?
They made a call.
Okay.
So if you're just joining us, the Cardinals did make a trade, according to Joel Sherman, and now Katie Wu makes it official. The Cardinals have acquired right-handed reliever Andrew Kittredge from the Rays for outfielder Richie Palacios. If you want to leave us a mic drop, if you want to send in some text, tell us what you think. I like the move. I do.
We did get a text from the 314. That's my fear. Now they don't need to spend $5 million for a reliever. They have their guy.
They have the way I would look at it is they have. And I don't disagree with the texter because this is my biggest problem with the Cardinals. But credit them. They made a move today. But this is my biggest problem with the Cardinals. They make a move. They kick their feet up. We're good. We like what we have. What do you mean, Carey?
We thought they kicked their feet up after they got the 3 starting pitchers. They're working.
You're absolutely right.
Always working.
2 months later, they added a reliever.
That's when the market when it was available on the market, Anthony.
It might be in too harsh.
What do you think? Andrew Kittredge was just sitting around waiting on a phone call?
Probably.
He probably was.
No, I mean, honestly, this is a good deal for the Cardinals.
We did get a text from the 314 to my point about the front office listening to the show and us having any input. Uh-huh. The 314 says Anthony also said whoever the Rays ask for, you promote and start. So maybe they're not taking our advice.
That's an even better text. Absolutely. Listening. Yeah, that's a great text.
I think you made the great point. The Rays actually listen. I think Marshy, who said that, right? Marshy? The Rays are listening?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are the ones listening.
They called Mo immediately.
They said they need bullpen help. We got a guy. And then they went down the roster. Yep, that's the one we want.
Yep. 33 years old will fit in perfectly. I don't want to do that though. But career wise, Andrew Kittredge, 3.65 ERA. He has 7 years under his belt, 181 games. This is somebody you know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. The ERA plus numbers, the FIP numbers, they're all good. And bullpen numbers can be skewed. They can be rough sometimes. But everything I'm looking at with Andrew Kittredge, not like I seen every single pitch that dude has ever thrown with Tampa. This is a solid move for the Cardinals.
Where does he fit in the bullpen? Where are you putting him?
He had last year, I was looking at that. Good question. So he had 8 saves in 2021. He had 5 saves in 2022 and 1 save last year. But again, he's coming off Tommy John. He only 11 games and 11 appearances. So what I would think is he slots at the back end of your bullpen. Maybe he gets a couple of save opportunities throughout the course of the year. But somebody who does have a little bit of closer experience. Otherwise, high leverage back end of the bullpen.
So what does that say about their trust in Ryan Helsley as the closer?
It's a good question, Marsh. I don't think it says anything. This is what they should be doing. Who's available? How can we improve our team? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a really fair question. But for me, keep adding, and then figure it out. You don't want Ollie Marmol or previous to him, Schilt or Mike Matheny, if you want to go back that far, to be sitting there knowing that you don't have much in the bullpen or you don't have much on your bench. Give these guys something. You want your manager to be good. Forget whether they have experience or don't have experience or they won 90 games 2 years ago, lost 90 games last. Forget all that. Are you putting him in the best spot to succeed? And last year, that bullpen was not good enough. And we sit here and bitch and moan about decisions that are made and all that. Did that dude have a good bullpen? No. Can you get guys that are high leverage options for games that matter? You're going to play in a lot of close games, potentially. Then get a bullpen that's legit. So I like the move. And I won't like watching Richie Palacios win the AL MVP next year. But it is what it is. The Rays are good. What can I tell you? All right, we do have their Sports Six-Pack coming up. We can continue to talk about this, though. If you want to leave us a mic drop on it, you want to give us a text, great. The Cardinals did make a move today. Again, if you're just joining us, bear with me as I repeat because people come in and out all the time. But Joel Sherman reporting, and now it's official, according to Katie Wu, and the Cardinals released it as well, that the Cardinals are acquiring right-hander reliever Andrew Kittredge from the Rays in exchange for outfielder Richie Palacios. That deal is now done. Sports Six back next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Text in anything you want. We'll answer your questions next in the Fast Lane.
the question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. No Jamie Rivers today. He's traveling with the Blues after their win last night against the Canucks. They're going to take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow night. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions for the Sports Six Pack.
Question number 1.
Anthony, you teased this earlier in the show. I had a question for you two and for the listeners as well. What is the best sports channel theme song? So heading into a game, it could be NBA, it could be NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL. Hell, it could even be soccer. What is the best theme song?
I think soccer has a great one. All of them. I think all the theme songs for soccer are great.
When I hear it, I
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's going to be the NBA on NBC.
NBA.
That one. That did something. It just felt like Michael Jordan. I don't know. That should be his theme song. That's how it felt in the 90s. So I'm going to go with that one.
When the playoffs in the 90s, like when you had a playoff series.
Yeah.
And you heard that theme music, you knew life was effing great. You know?
It was. It felt wonderful.
Yes. That one's the best.
I like the NHL on ESPN, not the one now, but the old one. The music plays, Gary Thorne comes on the air. Just a great theme song.
How does that one go?
That is
Carey and I sung the NBA one.
We did.
The I have it right here actually. I could play it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
The Monday Night Football theme is always good. I kind of like the new one.
The Are You Ready for Some Football?
Yeah, that one. Are you ready for some football?
Monday Night Football.
They got a new one, though, that's with Snoop and
I've been at
one of the country singers.
It's waiting all day for Sunday night. They like the Carey Underwood one. We're getting some text.
Yeah, but no, this one. Oh yeah, that one's
on the text line.
That one's good.
You ready, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is a good one. That is a good one.
No, I think they still do it. I think they still. I think they brought it back.
That was a good one.
No, they do.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's the one that I had in mind.
That's good stuff. But no, the new Monday Night Football one, it's Snoop and I think like Bradley Gilbert or something.
I haven't heard that. Or maybe I have.
It's good. Yeah.
I do love
it's the
when
same song, but they just
Carey Underwood comes on the TV screen for Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Waiting all day for Sunday night. Used to be Shania Twain, I think.
Yeah.
Which was also good.
Also great.
Yep. But still the NBA
Question
one.
number 2.
Oh, that takes the cake. From the 636, Carey, would you rather be a Super Bowl champion or a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Get to choose. Sports Six Pack. It's not the sports ride the fence.
Well, I will tell you. I'll be honest with you. I'm already a Super Bowl champion, so give me that damn Hall of Fame. I've lived this life. Let's see how the other half lives.
That's fair.
Pretty simple for me. Yeah.
Although, don't you think that Dan Marino would trade the Hall of Fame for Super Bowl?
No.
No? No. Who wouldn't trade the Hall of Fame for a Super Bowl?
No.
One thing he's never had in his life.
Yeah, you know how many people, you know how many Super Bowl champions
kidnapped before.
Ace been with the Dolphin?
Yes.
Yeah. Finkel and Einhorn? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ace
Snowflake.
You're a weird guy, Ace. I don't think any Hall of Famer, if you ask them honestly.
You don't think Chuck would?
Hell no.
All right.
There are, because when that's just a different neighborhood, man. You are the elite of the elite. Like, people you played against. You may not have won. That's a team thing, but individually, you were a bad guy. You were a bad dude. And so, yeah, I don't think that they would trade it. Now, they might say it.
I guess to your point, you could be like, Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl.
See what I'm saying?
Trent Dilfer's won a Super Bowl.
See what I'm saying?
Those guys aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Won't be. Yeah. Neither am I. Give me that damn Hall of Fame.
Did you think it was weird that the Dolphins played virtually a home game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, against the Eagles.
Like, I thought that was weird. No,
Yeah,
I'm
that
talking
was
about
weird.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, they played the Eagles.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird.
Ace beat up the Eagles
Yeah.
at the end.
It's not that weird. The Rams played the Super Bowl at home.
Yeah, but they didn't have their mascot like flipping around. Like it was a
Right.
home game.
It was definitely a home game.
I mean, it's totally a movie, so
yeah,
I'll
but
give it a pass.
Carey's right. The Rams
played the Super Bowl.
unfortunately played their home game. They
Well,
played
the
Super Bowl.
Buccaneers did too.
There you go.
That's
they
right.
did.
That's right.
Those
They
2
were
years
actually
in a
the
row.
First ones.
Yeah. Now they didn't play it in front of many fans,
No.
but yeah.
Question number 3.
From the 618, if Tyler O'Neill joins another team, aka the Boston Red Sox, and has immediate success, does it say anything about the Cardinals' ability to get the best out of their players?
No, it says everything about him staying healthy for once.
Well, maybe it says something about the training staff. Like if the injuries are continuously piling up here, then maybe there was something that he was taught in a different place on how to take care of his body in a different manner. Or maybe he decided, it could be one or two things. Either he was taught something different, or maybe he decided, you know what?
I'm just going to play with some of these bumps and bruises.
All those no, never that. Just not have the bumps and bruises. These back squats and putting 500 on the bar, it serves no purpose after a certain age. Trust me, I know.
I am strong. Look at me.
My knees don't work. I can squat the house.
Yeah, you can.
How your knee feel? Not great. Not great.
Not great at all.
By the way,
Tweak my back.
Kind of in pain.
our first question about the theme songs, we have some other ones trickling in from the text line from 636.
Please.
Wide World of Sports from Saturdays in the 1970s. And we have from the 636, CBS for March Madness. That is a
That
great
is
theme.
good. Yes.
Is that the last one?
Yes.
Like the what is it called? What's the last song that they play?
Oh no, that's
One Shining Moment.
One Shining Moment.
That's that is great as well.
That is certainly, but I think they're talking about the theme
the
music.
theme. Okay.
Yeah.
The Bulls music in the 90s was on there as well.
Oh boy, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever see one?
In person?
Yeah. With Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Amazing.
I was fortunate enough to go to several of those games.
Different time, man.
And now.
There you go.
North Carolina. Man, that was awesome. Go ahead, Marsh.
Question number 4.
From the 636, what is your favorite board game?
Ooh.
I'm pretty partial. I'll go back to like the childhood on this one, and it was around further, beyond. But I'm a big fan of Clue.
Really?
Yeah, I like Clue.
Monopoly is the one.
Monopoly
It takes a while.
too damn long.
It does.
It was Anthony in the bar with the broken beer bottle.
Stab 2 people.
Yeah. Monopoly, I think. It's classic. You gotta have some time though and some patience.
Yeah,
And you can actually learn something.
about finances
There you go.
and how to take people's lunch money,
Exactly.
how to evict them.
And kick them out on the street.
Yeah,
And then take their money. And then it becomes your money.
right.
It's America.
I'm solving murders. Carey's out here kicking people, evicting people. America.
Have you guys ever played Settlers of Catan?
No.
Never
Great
heard
game. Great game.
That's a board game?
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
No.
You need some time to play it though.
Okay.
Sounds
It
like a
gets heated.
game. Sounds like one of those computer games.
Did you guys ever play Risk? I never did,
Yeah.
but it always looked kind of fun.
Yeah.
I've played it.
I think it's like Settlers of Catan is, I wouldn't say it's like the exact same, but like similar in a sense. Like you have to establish like
Territory.
build roads and like build structures and all that stuff. And you get certain cards that you can use to build said thing. So
Is Sorry considered a board game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I still play that with my kids. They hit that thing on
We have
cards and Trouble and Sorry.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
both have like the thing in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, Trouble does. Sorry is just the cards on the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cards. You go around. If you get Sorry, they got to go back.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
We have
Sorry
some of
that
the old classics in our house, like the reversion or whatever you call it, the the
Yeah.
new versions of like Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that was a fantastic
that's
game
really
growing
good.
up.
That's really the Chutes and Ladders. My wife's Kristen. Her favorite board game was always Chutes and Ladders. You learn a lot about life.
You do.
You know, you acting up, you fall down a ladder. That's how it goes.
We got a text from the 636. Come on, Stalter. Candyland, another fantastic
Candyland,
game.
excellent. Absolutely. I'm not gonna fight you on that one. We have that one too. But yeah. But Chutes and Ladders, man. I mean, you know, mess around and find out is basically what Chutes and Ladders is all about.
Question number 5.
From the 314, will the Ravens defensive coordinator be the hottest coaching candidate this offseason?
He'll be up
no.
there.
Yeah, you think
He won't be the hottest. Ben Johnson will be. Yeah.
from the
Lions.
Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Offensive coordinator will be because of how well they've played this year.
You know who doesn't get enough credit to is oh geez. I keep thinking of Mike McDonald, who's the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, but the other there's another DC.
Wink Martindale is
He's the Giants. He's the Giants DC. Yeah, Wink Martindale was Baltimore's guy until last year.
Yes.
He's with the Giants twice the last 2 years.
Who is the
McDonald? Mike McDonald.
Mike
yeah.
McDonald. Okay.
But who the hell am I thinking of? There's another DC that's been great this year that I feel is flying under the radar.
Does Steve Wilkes get another opportunity?
He
over there
should.
in San Francisco.
Well, the guy that should get Brian Flores should be a head coach in the NFL.
No, I think he should stay in Minnesota.
No.
Yeah, I think he should stay.
You know where Brian Flores looked real good? In Atlanta.
Oh,
The Falcons.
I think he likes wearing the purple and gold. Nah. I think
I
so.
like that black, red, and white.
You know what? That defense didn't look all too good these past few weeks. I don't think he'll get a shot.
What are you doing, Marsh? What are you doing? You know that guy's worked magic.
Yes.
Same team as a year ago. They're giving up points. They're giving up 40 points a game last year.
That's because that Donatel was the defensive coordinator.
And Donatel, wasn't he the DC in Atlanta for you guys?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He's in Green Bay as well.
Oh,
wasn't he?
yeah. He gave up, his defense gave
40-yard
up
play.
the infamous
It wasn't that much.
3rd and 23 or 4th and 23 against the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
It was in it was like the 2003 playoffs, and they gave up like a 4th and 23 or something like that.
Great.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yep.
We did get a text going back to the clue comment that we had from the 309. Wouldn't it be Anthony in the swimming pool with the bourbon?
Murdering myself, yes.
How'd he die?
You don't want to know. Yeah. That's awesome. All right, that's your sports six-pack. Let's go back to this Cardinals trade. If you missed it, we talked about it last segment. We'll get back into it, though. Joel Sherman reporting that the Cardinals have acquired Andrew Kittredge. And somebody on the text line is like, Anthony, you're going to have to practice that one because you keep trying to say Kisner, right? And I go, 100% yes. If you hear me saying Andrew Kittredge, it's because I'm trying not to say Andrew Kisner. Yeah. This is Andre. Is it Andre?
Andrew
Kittredge. Boy, this got to jack me up.
You know what, though? Someone tweeted out. I forgot
Ken
who it was.
Rosenthal tweeted out Andre, and I've been trying to avoid saying that.
Andre Kittredge.
This is a mess. Andrew Kittredge from the Rays. The Cardinals acquired him, right-hand reliever from Tampa for Richie Palacios.
We should get Arson Judge.
4th and 23 to Fred Mitchell. Fred X.
There you go, Fred X. Fred X, that's Ed Donatel.
I remember.
Green Bay fired him, and Atlanta goes, we want you.
We want that guy. Give me that guy.
And then 20 years later, Minnesota goes, we want that guy.
Yeah.
What a joke. Anyways, all right, we'll get into this Cardinals trade. Was it a good move? Did you like it? We take some mic drops, some text from you as well. We'll get into this Cardinals deal next on 101 ESPN.
So basically what I'm thinking here is you guys need to get a hold of your cha-ching friends over there at FanDuel and have them create some long-term betting options for some prop bets for Richie Palacios to probably, win ALCS MVP next year, probably World Series MVP at least next year or the year after that. Probably win the home run derby, or at least be in it. And so I could probably just throw a few bucks at that and maybe make some serious coin.
Yeah, Trey, fantastic idea. I would take the over on all those, and let's roll. Yeah, Richie Palacios dealt to the Tampa Bay Rays. What?
No.
What do you mean no?
Cardinals made a good decision here. Right?
Okay, so both things can be true.
Okay.
So the Cardinals acquired Andrew Kittredge from the Rays in exchange for Richie Palacios. I think it's a good move. Let's talk about this on the surface.
Okay.
One, they needed bullpen help. They needed back-end bullpen help.
Yes.
They just acquired it. Andrew Kittredge, really good numbers. Last year, he didn't pitch a lot because he was coming off Tommy John, but he's set to go. For what the Rays used him for and what the Cardinals are going to use him for, again, back-end help, they needed it. They acquired it. And they acquired it in exchange for outfield depth. Solid. ... Richie Palacios will probably be a stud. I don't know what to tell you. If the A's were acquiring him, I would say he's, dead to rights. The Rays acquiring him, MVP.
And that's just how the way of the world goes.
Correct.
Okay.
And you're just going to have to deal with it.
That's how life is.
You got bullpen help, and it costs you a guy that's going to be the next Randy Rosarena.
For his sake, I hope so. But as for the Cardinals, you hope that that's not the case. You hope that we got the best of that trade. And again, I said this earlier, where does Richie Palacios fit in on this roster? And I think when you're looking at, you can't be so afraid of a Randy Rosarena or Sandy Alcantara or Zach Gallen, those types of players coming back and biting you in the butt that you don't try to.
The other two, can you just go with the outfield?
Okay, don't bring those.
Don't bring the pitching.
They were.
Just Carey. That's the second time I called you Jamie. So used to talking to Jamie.
It happens.
Who are you? When did you come in?
I've been here a couple of days now.
Anyways, Carey, go ahead.
No, I just think that you can't be so afraid, if you're the Cardinals, of those things happening that you don't try to get your team better. And again, the Cardinals, they are going to have to make moves that make this roster better. And again, where was Richie going to play? How many games was he going to play? How many at-bats was he going to have? If you don't have those at-bats or those opportunities, the player, you're doing that player a disservice. And it becomes, it becomes unfair, but it's a part of the game. You understand. And he's still a younger player. So if he's 33 and not having that many at-bats, you can say, okay, it is what it is. But at 26, you want that young man to get at-bats. And if you can get something in return that helps your team right now, you go and do that.
Marsh, you flipped a fifth outfielder for back-end bullpen help.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, we make jokes about Randy Rosarena and whatnot. Like, I think people at the time thought that Randy Rosarena could have a massive impact on the outfield and in the lineup when he was brought up, and then they traded him away, and then he's done what he's done. Carey's absolutely right. Like, be honest, like, no one thought that Richie Palacios was going to be anything heading into 2024 unless he ends up coming up last year late in the season and played really well. Mm-hmm. But, let's be honest, did you think that did you even know who Richie Palacios was if you weren't on Twitter?
Right. And really, at the end of the year, we talked about him a lot, and then we haven't mentioned him in the outfield. Anytime we talk about the outfield, we talk about Tommy Edman playing center.
Right.
We talk about Jordan Walker manning one of the outfield spots. We talk about Lars Nootbaar trying to bring in Yamamoto. Now, Lars failed.
He did.
He failed us all.
That's
on Lars.
Twice,
It's tough. He failed
supposed to get
Shohei too. Yeah. So I mean, we got to talk to that
guy.
That's tough. So Lars, you better win an MVP next year to make up for the transgressions here. But we didn't. To your point, Marsh, we didn't really talk about Palacios. Here's the other thing too. Let's look at it this way. If Andrew Kittredge comes in and he's a solid player for you, and Richie Palacios is nothing more than outfield depth for Tampa Bay, you got a back-end bullpen piece for a guy that had a very good end of the season last year. That's kind of like acquiring I was going to use a blues analogy here, but I won't. Let's just say this again. If Richie Palacios doesn't come up and do what he did last year, you don't have an opportunity to improve your bullpen. That's the bottom line.
I guess the question would be is, does Richie Palacios have a chance to start in Tampa Bay? And I'm looking at their depth chart. He might have an opportunity to earn his way to.
He probably will.
Now,
because the Rays
therein lies the problem, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he goes and does get these at bats and he does start and perform well, and say Lars Newbar doesn't match that effort, then you have a potential problem on your hands with what you did. If you're just looking at the lineup sheet and you're looking at the depth chart and you're saying, okay, he's a fifth starter, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. But if given the same number of opportunities as other people and his numbers are greater, then you have to question, why in the hell was he the third? Why in the hell was he the fifth outfielder to start?
Yeah.
That would be the question. So
I think, as I'm looking at it right now, Carey, I think that he's going to be outfield depth for the Rays too, assuming they keep Randy Rosarina. There was some trade talk. There's a rumor mill going there with the Randy Rosarina, whether or not he's going to get dealt. Mm-hmm. Now they just traded Luke Raley to the Mariners. He was an outfielder / first baseman, but a Rosarina,
they got a Rosarina,
Josh Lowe,
and
Jose Siri. Those are probably your starters, and Palacios should be the fourth guy there.
Right.
DeLuca would be the fifth.
Yeah.
So,
but with an opportunity, if someone injured or something changes, that would be the problematic situation for me.
Sure.
Is if you're saying, okay, if you stated as, we traded a fifth outfielder, mm-hmm. and it's okay because we got bullpen depth. But that fifth outfielder goes somewhere and becomes one of the three outfielders, and he plays really well, then you have to question, well, why the hell wasn't he a third outfielder here?
Let's be honest. The problem that we all have with this is the Rays.
Yes. What are we talking about? If it was anybody else. Oakland Athletics, or the Las Vegas Athletics, whatever.
This everybody universally would be like, you just traded a fifth outfielder for bullpen help. Period, end of story. But because it's the Rays, we have to worry about Richie Palacios becoming one of the greatest baseball players known to man.
And Andrew Kittredge not being as good as he was last season.
Because the Rays dealt him to you.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little scary.
We did get a text from the 636. If you're depending on Palacios, then you're in trouble next year.
That's a great point, too. Because the only reason why the kid got his opportunity, and man, he ran with it.
He did.
But the only reason he got his opportunity is because he stunk last year. All right, let's hear from Chuck. Chuck can have the last word on this, and then we'll move on.
Congratulations to 2024 American League MVP Richie Palacios. And this is Mo being Mo again. Although it's an arm, we'll go with that. But you got to wonder what Tampa Bay has seen in Palacios in order to make this deal. Guess we'll see.
What do you know, Tampa? What do you know?
Now, I will tell you this. If it happens again, then you change the name into do not answer in your phone.
You should already had that.
Well, you give it another chance.
Carey, you know my rule with the Rays. The texter pointed it out earlier. As soon as the Rays start asking for somebody, you promote them or you make them a starter. Palacios should have been the starter.
Do you think Mo haters want this to happen?
Absolutely.
Oh, no question.
100%.
I don't say I want it to happen, but it'd be interesting if it did.
Boy, you just admitted something.
I didn't admit anything.
A little bit.
Come on.
You went to the line and you were like,
don't sue me now, Anthony. Don't sue me.
All right, we got our NFL Week 18 Pick'em Picks next on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter back with you for Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Ben, they've got great deals at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. We just purchased a pre-owned Pathfinder. Love it. We love the deal that we got. We love the ability to have the lifetime complimentary warranty. But I love going on AutoCentersNissan.com and just looking at the vehicles that they have there. They've got over 500 pre-owned vehicles and over 700 vehicles overall, when you count the new Nissans as well, on their lot, one spot in Herculaneum. The sales department out there are fantastic. They make it fun. No pressure. They do a great job of matching your needs to the vehicles that they have on the lot. And, man, they've got an expansive lot. The deals are always fantastic. They give you a 30-day return promise. They give you that lifetime complimentary warranty on new Nissans, too. They've got a great financing department. You can stop on out there or visit them at AutoCentersNissan.com. Then go take a test drive. Get yourself a hot dog just for stopping by. Tell them Stalter sent you, but go pick out your next new ride at AutoCentersNissan.com and AutoCenters Nissan Herculaneum.
Get ready to pick 'em. It's the Fast Lane Football Pick 'em Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick 'em.
Before we get into the picks, we had a criticism that I wanted to address from the Air Comfort Service text line. Marsh, can you read that to us?
Yes, from the 309. Awesome trade breakdown, guys. Thanks for the zero statistical content. Should have called up Dan to run that one.
Well, Dan McLaughlin, anytime he joins this show, is absolute pure gold. So absolutely right on that one. Now, that was the second time we talked about the trade involving Andrew Kittredge and Richie Palacios. We talked more statistics in the first one, but customer's always right. So want to make sure that we do get some of the statistical breakdowns on this one, Carey.
The statistics.
So last year, 3.09 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, had a 10-2 strikeout to walk ratio over 11 2/3 innings with the Rays. That was off a 2025 or 2023 Tommy John surgery. Andrew Kittredge in 2017, of course, that was his first year. 27 years old, at a 1.76 ERA in 15 games. 15 and a third innings pitched on that one, Carey. 2.44 ERA plus 4.20 FIP, 1.239 WHIP. You move on to the 2018 season in which he was 28 years old, 7.75 ERA. So, boy, that was a rough one for him. 38 in the third innings. He had a 5.38 FIP, nasty whip, 1.8 ERA plus of just 53, just horrendous. But Carey in 2019, Andrew Kittredge, 4.17 ERA in 37 games, had a 106 ERA plus, a 3.56 FIP, a 1.268 whip. In 2020, he's a 30-year-old Carey, 3.119 FIP, 1.89 ERA plus, 1.25 whip, and a 2.25 ERA. Andrew Kittredge, 31 years old. We're up to 2021, Carey. Here's your statistical breakdown on this one, all right? You ready? 1.88 ERA for my man. 57 games, 71 and 2/3 innings of work. This is his best season, Carey.
He's an all-star.
Absolutely. 2.15 ERA plus, 3.04 FIP. All-star season for him, as my man Carey just mentioned. 32 years old, 2022. 3.15 ERA, 1.18 ERA plus, a 4.61 FIP, and a home run per nine of 6.1.
Are you tired?
6.8. Absolutely not. I do this all day long.
Is that enough for you? There's some stats.
I doubt it is. Okay. I don't think he likes that breakdown. But here's the thing.
That's what was asked for.
Here's the thing, Carey. When you're complaining about something, it's usually you're something that you're not satisfied with in yourself.
Yeah. That's usually how that works.
Now, that's whoever, if they're still listening, they might not be.
Okay.
They're not going to want to hear that.
They don't want to hear the truth.
They don't want to hear the truth. But tonight, whoever sent that text message in, and I care about you. So I want you to do this. I want you to go. I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to say, why did you send that text message in? Why were you angry? What are you holding back? Mom, dad, wife, husband, what's bothering you? Carey and I care about you.
We do.
Nonetheless, we gave you that statistical breakdown, so hopefully that suffices. All right, boys, week 18 in the NFL. You guys ready? You ready to do that dance, Carey?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's roll with this here. We will get to the actual picks. Starts tomorrow night, Steelers and Ravens. But, Marshy, which team has the most pressure in Week 18? There's a lot of teams to choose from, but which one do you think is under the most pressure, highest stakes, all that? Who do you got?
Ooh. Man, I think it's between the Dolphins and the Packers. Dolphins to stay as the division leader and get home field advantage, at least for that first week. And then you have the Packers, who are taking on the Bears, who are 7-9, but I think the Packers are much better than the Bears, and they have a chance to make the playoffs. So
who you got? Come on, Marsh.
Man. You know what, though?
Get off the fence.
Give me a second. I'm thinking. I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
All right, Carey.
Who has the most pressure?
Most pressure, most at stake.
I think so. I'm gonna go Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Just because, as I said and stated before, the amount of new quarterbacks in that division, to even be in a game where you have to win to get in, it's disrespectful. It's not great. And this is a team that we talked about the pressure that Josh Allen has been facing. Trevor Lawrence has been talked about maybe in that conversation of the top tier quarterbacks. And to be 9-7, needing a win versus the Tennessee Titans, and in Tennessee in order to make it to the playoffs, I gotta say that it's the Jacksonville Jaguars that have most pressure on them.
That's where I'm going, Carey. I'm with you on that one. You had the division. You had it. I mean, going in, you had distinct advantages. Now, we didn't know that Houston, was going to be as good as they were, but then Indianapolis has hung around, despite not having a good defense. You had a kind of a cakewalk schedule. Remember, they played the Bengals on a Monday night. I think the first game after Joe Burrow got hurt, and
they lost.
You lost in overtime despite having a lead in that one and facing a backup quarterback in Jake Browning.
Yeah.
They have had opportunities throughout the course of the second half here, including losses to Houston. That was in the first half. Cleveland, Baltimore, Tampa. I mean, you got crushed by Tampa.
Yeah. And the loss to Houston early in the season was a telltale sign for me.
Yeah.
It on both ends. Like, Jacksonville at home, losing to a rookie quarterback. Okay, he's really good. We didn't expect that. But you don't lose that game.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so they are the team for me.
Carey, which head coach do you think has the most pressure on to win in Week 18?
Ooh. Most pressure. I mean, isn't it always Mike McCarthy?
Maybe not this week.
You don't think winning the division versus not?
I think it's big. I just can't fathom them losing to Washington at all. Like I think if Arthur Smith has any chance of holding on to his job, you have to. He shouldn't.
Anthony.
He shouldn't. But you got to win this game.
They could win. They could put up 70 points like the Miami Dolphins did against the Denver Broncos. I don't think it matters. I think his fate has already been sealed.
I hope so, Carey.
I think there will be a letter waiting on him. Are they at home or away this week?
Away.
When he gets on the plane, they have a conversation. Hey, sit down, buddy. Let's talk.
Let's hope so. Marsh, you have one? Head coach, most pressure?
Well, I mentioned Green Bay. I wonder if Matt LaFleur has some pressure. Granted,
he's
I don't
playing
know
with house money for me.
That's kind of where I'm thinking as well. Like, I don't know what their expectations were heading into the year. I don't think a lot of people thought they would be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think everyone thought that the Lions would run with the division, and they have. And then maybe if they made a wild card, great. In terms of Green Bay. What about Dennis Allen with the Saints? If they win,
he's fired, man.
What if they win though? And if they're a playoff team, how do you go to him and be like, "Hey,
the same way you should have went to Brandon Staley last year." And
so what we're saying is there's a lot of dead man walking.
I don't know how they. I mean, I don't want anyone to get fired ever, but they do. And if I'm telling you, if I think who I think is going to get fired, definitely those two teams in the NFC South.
What about Nick Sirianni? Not that he is going to be fired by any means. He won't. But he needs to get his team going heading into the playoffs. They need to get back on track.
I just don't think they're going to play everybody. Devonta Smith is already out.
Yeah,
and I think the Eagles are kind of conceding things, knowing that Dallas is going to probably beat Washington.
Right.
I don't think they want a bunch of injuries, knowing that they're gonna line up against Tampa, New Orleans, or Atlanta next week. Like Philly's in a good spot. Yeah, they get a free playoff win.
I can give you one, Marcia. And you said that I think it's the Miami Dolphins. I think it's Mike McDaniel. He's got some pressure on him at home. First opportunity to win the division.
Yeah, you going limping. I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's a name that you look at and say he needs that win.
Yeah.
Because all of that, I mean, and I think he's a good coach, but he's very personable. You root for a guy like that. But guess what? If you don't win, nobody gives a damn how funny you are.
Very true.
Nobody gives a damn how cool you are, how many kids dress up like you on Halloween,
right.
and how you talking crap to Dan Marino on the sideline. Hey, play for your records, Dan. Yeah, nobody cares when you're not winning. So it's fun. Like, he's having the time of his life. Yeah, you don't win the division and lose in the first round. See how much more fun you're having.
Oh, it's a really good point. All right, guys, upset pick of the week. If you're going to pick one upset, it's got to be a Vegas upset.
All right,
a Vegas underdog. I'm going to go with the Titans. I think that this
like the Titans.
I don't like the Titans at all. This is not about the Titans. This is about the Jaguars. This is about a team that is limping into the postseason if they even make it. They're banged up. Trevor Lawrence is questionable. Zay Jones is questionable. Christian Kirk is questionable. The defense has been questionable for over a month now. This team is backsliding, and there are always upsets in Week 18. So I'm going to take the Titans.
It's hard because there are so many teams with players out. So you want to have a game that is at least competitive or thought to be. The part of me wants to say the Panthers, but there's no way in hell they beat the Buccaneers. They shouldn't. Not with what the Buccaneers have on the line. I might as well go with it. I don't know if this is sufficient enough, but I'm going to go Chicago Bears over the Packers.
Okay. No, it is. Yeah, that's an upset. Marsh?
I have 3 upsets this week.
3?
Yeah, I got 3. One of them is the Panthers over the Buccaneers.
Wow.
The Falcons over the Saints.
No chance in
hell.
hell.
And the Bears over the Packers.
Yeah, we are
and if you want to throw it in there, the Vikings over the Lions.
I could see that one.
And then you have the Vikings in the playoffs.
I missed it. I missed how he was lining it up, Carey. I should have seen it.
Roads lead back to the Vikings making
Carey,
the playoffs.
I should have seen it. He was lining it up perfectly. He started off with my crap team winning a game. I should have known. That was a red flag.
That is hilarious.
All right, boys, real quick. Steelers-Ravens. I think the Ravens pull off the upset tomorrow.
No.
With their backups.
I think the Steelers are going to win that game. The Steelers, They beat them once earlier this season. They shouldn't have. I don't know how the Ravens allowed that to happen.
Lamar Jackson threw an interception in the end zone on a stupid fade route.
That was bad.
They had one drive.
But that was when Kenny Pickett threw one to, I think, George Pickens at the end.
He had one throw.
Yeah, one throw
on one drive, and the Steelers won. Yep.
I'm gonna still say. Well, I got the Steelers winning that game.
All right,
based on all of the people that I'm sure will be sitting out for Baltimore.
And they will be. Yeah, no Lamar, no Zay Flowers.
I'll say the Steelers win, too.
All right, Texans-Colts, I got the Texans.
Oh, I got the Texans as well.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a fun game tomorrow night in Indy. Indy doesn't play defense.
I like C.J. Stroud, man.
I think C.J. Stroud, he's already cemented his offensive rookie. He already cemented his offensive rookie of the year, but I think D'Amico Ryans becomes, coach of the year and all that. Texans, magical season. I think they win tomorrow night.
Yep.
I want the Texans to win, which is exactly why they'll lose.
Okay.
And we'll get the Colts, who I would guarantee everyone in this country, except for Colt fans, want them in the playoffs.
Yep.
No one wants the Colts in the playoffs.
Yeah. I know the Panthers are your upset pick, Marsh, but I got the Bucks. I don't think they lose that game. I do not see Carolina winning at all in any facet.
I don't know how they win that game.
Yeah.
It's not
Maybe it's close because Tampa's a little tight, but they're not going to lose.
Why would they be tight?
Because everything's on the line.
Shaky bakey, baby. I hope he's shaky
they're in the
bakey
driver's
tomorrow.
seat. They're in the driver's seat.
Shaky bakey has.
Or not tomorrow, but Sunday.
Yeah, he'll take care of business.
Vikings, Lions.
Lions resting. Lions resting some people as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, but can't they still get the 2 seed potentially? I think the Vikings win this game.
I think both the Cowboys and the Eagles would have to lose.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the only way.
I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think they go into Detroit. They got Nick Mullins, so they got an actual quarterback this week. And
do they?
I say that based on
the fourth
Jaron
guy
Hall
that's played.
Man,
based
he was
on
terrible.
Watching Jaron Hall last week.
You know what's funny though? He was so bad, but he looked really good against your team for one drive.
Amazing.
Tell that to Carey, who loves Justin Fields, who put 287 yards on them.
I think the Vikings win because it would be the most Minnesota Vikings thing ever to
win and not get in.
1-1 in these last 2 games, and that would basically knock them out of a top 10 spot, and they wouldn't be good enough to be in the playoffs, but they also won't be bad enough to get a top pick.
Right.
So that's the most Minnesota Vikings thing to ever happen.
Bad place to be in.
Real quick, Vikings, Lions, Carey?
Lions.
Falcons, Saints. I got Saints. Marsh?
Yeah, I have the Falcons.
Jaguars, Titans. I got the Titans pulling off the upset.
Titans.
I'm also going to go with the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, boy, Jacksonville's going to win by 30 now. Bears and Packers. I still got the Packers.
The Bears.
I got the Packers.
Give me the Bears.
The Bears.
All right, Bills, Dolphins. I'm riding with the Dolphins.
I'm going Dolphins.
I'm going Bills.
Are you? I thought you said Bills earlier.
No,
you said Dolphins earlier?
I said Dolphins. I think the Dolphins should win, but it's more pressure on them.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. That's your NFL Week 18 pick'em picks. Everybody got their picks in, by the way?
Yeah.
We did win, but we're still doling out some punishment.
Yes.
Marsh.
I haven't done it yet.
When are we going to do that? What are we doing?
We got
What's going on here?
This guy's got to get some shots next week, and so does Jamie.
Let's get that done, please.
Yeah. And I got to catch you. We got a title.
Yeah,
Carey's up by 3.
I don't want to be caught.
The fast lane picks. Carey's in the lead with 3. I'm right behind him, but this is my Super Bowl this weekend.
Let's go.
Nothing on the line but pride. All right. Biggest question today next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, we've been talking about it. We were just talking about it. The NFL regular season, Week 18, is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. When you place a $5 bet, that's $150 in bonus bets, whether you win or lose.
That's crazy, Gary.
That is amazing.
That's just
That's
crazy. Live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explorer tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays. All available at FanDuel. But in order to cash in on the deal that Carey just said,
or Jamie.
Jeez, Jamie's
just call
talking
me
about
Jamie
it too.
till you figure it out.
The deal that Carey just read off to you. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's all guaranteed when you place a $5 bet, and it could be win or lose. Again, you got to get signed up, though. Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast to make your first bet a layup. All courtesy of FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues won last night against the Vancouver Canucks by a final score of 2-1. They'll be back in action tomorrow night taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals made a trade today, sending Richie Palacios to Tampa Bay. In return, they get Andrew Kittredge, a relief pitcher. We talked about that earlier today. If you missed that conversation or any of our conversations from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to that podcast page. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Well, Carey Davis and Anthony Stalter to the Fastline on 101 ESPN. Here's Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
Yeah, I think the question has to revolve around this trade that the Cardinals made to acquire Andrew Kittredge from the Tampa Bay Rays. And what better person to get on the show than John Foe Zaylock, as he left us a mic drop, Foe letting the people know what the mindset was in getting this relief pitcher.
Nice.
So, I've obviously been listening and been hearing the feedback, and, I understand that, the fans may not have a lot of faith in our trade-making ability, but if you'd allow me to kind of walk you through the way this all went down today, I think you guys will be impressed and satisfied with the strategic approach that this organization took into dealing with the Rays. So, originally, they gave me a call and they said, look, we think you guys need a bullpen arm. And I agreed. And, they mentioned this Kittredge guy, and, I was like, never heard of him. But after quickly pulling up his stats on ESPN, I was like, okay, we're interested. So I think the Rays tried to pull another fast one on us. They asked for Jordan Walker. I said no. They asked for Nolan Gorman. I said no. They even asked for Nolan Arenado. And I was getting frustrated, and they said, fine. How about the Palacios guy? And I was like, gave Gersh a wink, and, we got their fourth option. They sounds like they had no idea who he was. I had no idea who he was, and made the move. And we're excited. We think that this guy will be a back-of-the-end guy.
So Richie Palacios heading to Tampa Bay. I think a lot of fans are probably wondering, why would you do that? He's going to become a AL MVP candidate.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's going to win the World Series and the World Series MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it happens. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Not hypothetically, though. How much pressure is on the outfield for the Cards to perform this season?
I think that was going to be the case, regardless of whether or not you just traded the next AL MVP, which you just did.
Exactly.
More pressure on Tommy Edman or Lars Newbar. I think Jordan Walker, he's still younger, and we expect him to be a superstar. So you feel like it's more pressure on either one of those guys?
I think Lars.
I think I agree.
If I had to choose out of those three, you're right. Walker's going into his second year.
Yeah.
I don't think we're to the pressure cooker moment yet for him.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Edman is established. We know what he is.
Right.
And he's proven, you put him anywhere, he is
going to play well.
I think Lars, from an injury standpoint a year ago, he's somebody that I think could play 150 games for you.
He should.
So this is where everything kind of meets. It's the production, it's the potential, and now it's the durability.
Right.
For Lars. So I'll go there.
I'm in agreement.
No.
Yeah.
But Andrew, getting back to Andrew Kittredge, you're talking about in the last 3 seasons, he owns the best chase percentage in baseball with the second highest location plus. He has 118 stuff plus in that time frame, Carey. You're talking about somebody that can be nasty for you.
We need to know those things.
Because,
is he?
Look, you want a breakdown? I got a breakdown for you.
I love the Chase Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Big Chase Plus guy.
Yeah.
I like Chase Park Plaza, too.
Yeah, too. It's a great place.
Great spot.
Absolutely.
But we're talking about this. We're talking about Andrew Kittredge. We're not talking about the Chase Park Plaza. He may stay there.
He could.
He could.
There's a movie theater there.
Sure. But I'm talking about the Chase Plus, the statistic.
Yeah. Gotta see what happens. See how it goes.
What's his XFIP again in 2019?
I'll look that up for you. Yeah, no problem. Honestly, I'm glad you asked.
I'm surprised you don't have it just pulled up right now.
You're not the first person that asked today. What year, Marsh?
2019.
Yeah, 2019. Now, remember, he was 29. Broke into the league at 27. So
okay.
Only his third year. Some would call him a late bloomer.
Yep.
But his ERA plus was 106 in 2019.
His ERA plus?
Yeah.
What about his XFIP?
I'm only looking at the FIP right now. I'll go to Fangraphs to get you the XFIP, but the FIP was 3.56.
Yeah.
Now that kind of works like ERA in terms of how you read it.
Gotcha.
It's park adjusted, though.
You got to explain this to me like I'm in an orange reading group.
I can do that. since I was in the orange reading group, but only half the year. The second half when they realized I wasn't good enough to be in the blue reading group. But yeah, FIP, fielding independent percentage, is basically how well you do based on the park without the defense. Like, how do you do specifically?
So if no one else was out there, just you and the batter.
Correct.
Because that
How
happens.
good were you? Well, okay, Carey.
Well,
now,
I mean, how is anybody going to be good? There's no defense.
I
behind me.
appreciate good snark. I feel like I've been laying some snark out there for the last 11 years of my career. But Carey, I'm picking up on a lot of snark here from
just trying to figure it out
from the analytics.
a little bit.
You know what your problem is? You know what your problem is, Carey?
Do tell.
You're not viewing analytics for what they are, which is just information.
And
you're making it more about, I don't know,
literal
decision making and things like that.
Because I think those things matter every now and then. Analytics told you to take Jose Quintana out the game. I'm going to stand by that. Probably not a great decision. If that doesn't happen, we aren't where we are right now.
If that doesn't happen, I don't complain the entire time with Anthony while watching the game.
This poor kid.
There you go.
Carey.
Is it rough?
I've told this story before.
Okay.
I know Marshy Marsh, but I didn't know him like I knew him that day. So we're waiting for the Cardinals and Phillies game 1 to wrap up.
Yeah.
Because we had an abbreviated show.
Yep.
Jamie, don't know where he was. Maybe doing something with the Blues.
I'm
That was
sure.
a couple of years ago. Anyway. So it's just Marsh and I.
Probably on vacation in his Speedo.
Probably. So I'm watching Marsh, the ultimate Cardinals fan, pace around this studio for 2.5 hours.
He's losing it.
He's starting to lose it in the 9th inning. Starting to say things like, this is going to be a walk. It's going to be a walk. He's going to get on. There's another guy that's going to get on. There's going to be a hit. They're going to lose. They're going to lose this game. I mean, it was like first pitch in the 9th inning. My man's starting to ramp up. And I'm telling him, because I'm calm. I'm like, no, listen. They're going to be fine. They're going to get this guy out. I forget who it was.
I think it was Bryce Harper.
Probably Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
this guy's done nothing in his career.
Ever.
You're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, Marsh. So I'm like I'm doing the dad thing, you know, where you can tell your loved one is watching something that means so much to them, and you're just trying to calm the nerves.
Yeah.
My God, when they started to lose, I thought I was going to have to run the board for the first time since 2006 when I first broke into radio.
Oh.
Because Marsh was losing it.
Was he coming unhinged?
He was coming unhinged. I knew it. I know it. I told you. They're going to win this game. They're never going to win. They're not going to win the World Series. Ever. Never going to see him win another World Series.
I just felt it, you know, just like I felt like the minute Alex Reyes came trotting out of the bullpen.
You did.
I looked at Alex Ferrario before one of the Blues preseason games a few years ago, and I said, man, what a good season it was. What a run they had in September.
That's hilarious.
But unfortunately, the season comes to an end today. And then what, Chris Taylor stepped up to the plate.
Look, I got to give it to you. You were right. You were right that day. They did blow it. So, all right. Now that we all feel good about life, fade or follow next on 101 ESPN.
time for FanDuel Fade or Follow on the Fast Lane.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Everyone follow us.
No fade.
Money, 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 money.
All right, time for Fade or Follow here in the Fast Lane. We have Rob back for a second straight week. Carey, were you part of Fade or Follow last week?
Yes, I was.
All right, so I'm surprised you took Mizzou plus 4.5.
I did. I thought Mizzou would win. I thought they should win. If they lost, it was going to be a terrible weekend.
Okay, there you go. Well, Rob also followed you guys, and Rob won. Congratulations, Rob. You're back for round 2. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And yourselves?
Doing good. We decided to choose the national championship game.
We did.
So we, Carey and I, when we looked at this number here, the playoff game for Washington and Texas, the total was about 62.5. Washington, Michigan, the total is 56.5. It's still, that's pretty high. And we're not talking about Texas's secondary.
Right.
We, Carey and I, like the under 56.5 for the national championship game. I know it's not fun to root for the under. You want to see points. But this Michigan defense is legit. And as good as Michael Penix Jr. is, this is the toughest defense that he'll face all year. We see this being, even if it's a 27-24 game, that gets us under. So we like the under 56.5. Would you like to fade us or follow us on the under for the national championship game?
I think I'm going to have to follow you again.
Yeah, Rob.
I just don't see how, in my simple little mind, that Washington's going to be able to put up that many points against a real legit defense this week.
Well, Rob, guess what? You've got 3 little minds working on this one now. All right? So,
I'll take it.
Hey, have a great weekend. Good luck in the national title game. I hope that we talk to you again next Friday and you got $50 more of FanDuel's money.
That sounds great. You guys take care and have a good weekend.
Thanks, Rob. I like Rob. Boy, Rob's a really nice guy.
He's a good guy.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Nice.
Absolutely.
Pleasant.
Hey, if you missed anything from today's show, it's just Carey and I throughout the course of the day today. We broke down the Cardinals trade. I was a jerk to one of the listeners that was being passive-aggressive. We had some NFL picks. We talked about the Blues win.
We did. That was a good win. Great win, actually.
What else
See
we
if they
talk
can
about
repeat
today?
that over the weekend.
Yeah. By the way, we got Blues Hurricanes tomorrow pregame at 6 o'clock. How about I finish the one thought I had? The podcast available at 101ESPN.com and the mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Blues, Hurricanes. Then we got some NFL action on Sunday. Yes, Marsh?
Yeah, our 3 stars of the day.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, real quick here. 3rd star, Andrew Kittredge's statistics.
Nice. Yes.
2nd star of the day, John Fozelak.
Good. Indeed.
And our 1st star of the day is Ben, who won the Gauntlet.
Nice job, Ben. That makes sense. Ben. Yeah, I'll try again next week. All right, for Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. We appreciate everybody listening throughout the course of the week. Everybody have a great weekend. Looking forward to Monday in the national championship. But you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. See you.